Hello, welcome to Reaction Shots for October. We're all going to be doing voices the whole time. Just deal with it. I'm just kidding. We're not. We're doing psychological horror, and we've got special guest Matthew Walden.
Hello, everybody.
He came bearing gifts.
No.
He brought Super Cola from Hawaii. Well, it's Japanese, I guess.
Yeah, it's my favorite candy as a kid.
It's his favorite candy.
Super sour, and then it tastes like Coke. Highly recommend it.
And the woman on the cover is going, "Oh, cola." Huh.
It's a pleasant surprise.
Ah! And they're both just like, ah! And also a shirt with all the best filmmakers on it.
Minus Stanley Kubrick.
It's missing.
Should have been on the back,
one.
dude. Kubrick should have been on the back in big and bold.
And Kubrick.
Yeah.
There's some notable omissions. There's
got-
no Kubrick, no women, so missing some important
Missing
people on
some-
there.
When you only have four because it's format, you gotta Orson Welles, Werner Herzog, Francois Truffaut, and
Jan de Bont, the director of Speed.
Director of Speed.
That's all officially canonical.
Yeah. Which of course is because of your podcast, Better Than Speed.
That's right.
Check it out on whatever you want to listen to podcasts on.
Headphones is what I usually use.
Headphones. Have someone else describe it to you.
7.1 Atmos.
In the theater. All right, but before we get into... Oh, yeah, and Huber's here.
Hello. Don't mind me.
Silver medal.
I'm glad you're here. Last time I was here, you weren't.
Oh, you're right.
And it
For
feels,
the
it feels a lot
scores.
better to have
It
you
was
here.
weird.
Nice.
No, it was a great episode. We
Back in action.
accidentally went 2 hours and 45 minutes.
We
Something
accidentally
like
the
that.
whole thing.
It was amazing.
Nice.
Just about as long as Suspiria 2018.
Nice.
Actually, slightly longer, I think.
I've realized that 2 hours and 20 minutes is the absolute culmination. Name a bad 2 hour and 20 minute movie. Name a bad one. You can't.
I probably could if I had a minute.
Me too. But it's a really good length.
I don't know. How long was Joker? No.
2 hours, I think. Only.
Oh, okay.
It was missing that 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what it
if
needed.
it was 21 minutes longer, it would have had it. But before we get into the topic, let's just do what have you liked recently?
Coco.
You
Your
watched
friend
Coco.
was on here and told me to watch
Yeah.
Coco, and I did, and
I'm
it's one of
afraid.
the best fucking movies I've ever seen
It's
in my
really
life.
good. It's really good.
right,
yeah,
all
I
right.
cried.
Me
during
too.
Coco.
3
I don't
times.
Cry, I don't cry that much, but it like starts playing the guitar at the end, and my
Dude.
chin does that thing.
Yeah,
the chin thing where I'm like, it's happening.
Uh-oh, feelings.
It's good. It's a good movie.
Movie's the
It's really
best.
good, yeah.
It makes you think about loved ones. It makes you think about life. It makes you think about death. It's
I'm already thinking about all those things.
Yep. And it was just incredible movie. Highly recommend.
It's great. I don't usually watch kid stuff because I don't have kids, and God bless people who enjoy it. I have my own weird stuff I enjoy, but usually they tell me, like, you got to watch this kid's movie. Finding Nemo 3 is amazing, and I watch it, and I know there isn't a Finding Nemo 3.
Finding
but,
Dory, dude.
You
10
know,
out of 10.
Finding Dory's too. But you watch it, and then you're like, but Coco is actually really, really, really
You
good.
could get you could raise your kids on like giallo films or whatever, like old 70s horror, if that's your thing.
They'll rebel and become really sweet
right
as a reaction to that.
Yeah. They'll get really into like
Reverse programming.
Yeah. Oh, what's her
Screw
name?
you, Dad. I'm going to be nice.
Renee Zellweger, those diary.
Jones.
Bridget Jones's Diary. They'll get really into that.
Love
There's
Bridget
a rebellion.
It's a pretty good movie. The first
Really?
one, at least.
I never
Dude,
saw
love
it.
It's really fun.
All three.
I was
of
trying
them
to
are
just
good.
pick some kind of like really, really like safe, nice movie. I guess I didn't go safe and nice enough.
Yeah.
Whatever. So you
Coco.
liked Coco.
Unbelievable.
Anything
dude.
else?
I've watched a lot actually. Been watching movies.
List 'em all.
Here's a good one because you were talking about how you're from Hawaii. I was excited about this. Just watched for the first time one of my wife's childhood favorites, Blue Crush.
Oh, wow.
Blue
That's almost
Crush.
it.
Is that the
That's a
Jessica
Surfer
Alba
Girl
one?
right?
No. That's with Paul Walker called like Blue
Yeah.
Mist or something.
Blue
Something.
Horizon, Blue.
Something. Hard Edge.
Jessica Alba looking good in that movie.
I love Jessica Alba. She's been MIA for a while.
Yeah.
I think she has a family and stuff.
She's probably doing whatever.
But Blue Crush was really good. It was like a rom-com version of Point Break without the bank robberies.
so where's the point break come in? though?
There's like it's
The
very
waves.
anime,
Oh,
dude.
just the waves.
It's got the classic anime storyline of like, yo, big competition coming up. All the big newspaper people are gonna, all the big surfers, you gotta ace it in the competition.
We're gonna surf the Blue
Yeah,
Crush, bro.
yeah.
I don't know,
Super good.
dude. Point Break
I like
has
that
one of the
movie.
most romantic shots I've ever seen. When they're laying in bed and he's just slowly stroking her shoulder, and she's
This
asleep.
is, dude, Blue Crush is on.
It's a loving
I'm sorry
shot.
for comparing it to the masterpiece that is Point Break. It is not on that level, but it was a really delightful movie that, sometimes you go back, you visit these 80s, 90s movies. Like, it was, I think, early 2000s, but like, you revisit older movies and it's just like,
Who's in Blue Crush?
It's got like Kate Bosworth, Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, that was one of the first times I saw him.
Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
it's
I'm
a cool
remembering
movie.
the-
Delightful
I think I'm
little
remembering
movie.
The poster now.
Delightful little movie. 2 thumbs up. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel.
Wow.
Back in the day.
Got them both.
Got him.
I saw it in the
What
theater.
did Pauline Kael think? I don't know. She dead already? What?
I was gonna say I saw it in the theater, and I did one of those things that you do as a pretentious college kid, like, let's go watch this dumb movie. We're cooler than this dumb movie. And by the end of it, I was like, I like that movie.
We did the exact same thing with the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which is like honestly the best one.
The best one, probably.
Like 1 and 3 are the best.
Yeah.
But we went in
I
same
didn't
thing.
like 7.
6 and 7, yeah. Now that they've gone full on like James Bond set piece movies,
Yeah, I was pretty bored. All right, Blue Crush. What else? Anything else you want to talk about that you liked?
trying to watch some horror because it's October.
Octobar.
Started Haunting of Hill House finally.
Yeah.
Didn't watch it last year because there was way too much noise and spoilers around it. It was spoiled within a day. Too much, like literally the victim of hype. I was the victim of my brand. It was like, oh, this is what overhype is like. It was just too much. I couldn't jump into Haunting of Hill House because there was too much
Yeah.
on it. So I'm going
You're gonna
back
like
and
it.
doing
You're
that.
gonna like it, I think.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of watching
I'm
that.
interested to hear what you think of the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I saw that one. I actually made it through with that one. I'm a scaredy cat, which is funny because we're doing this episode, but like,
Yeah. And
I
then,
thought of that as soon as you suggested this episode. I was like, what's that gonna be like for you?
Well, it's a double-edged sword because I like psychological horror stuff. I just hate jump scares. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's and then 2 other last little things. One, I rewatched all the Daniel Craig Bonds,
Yeah.
and going in before I rewatched him, I was like, all right, GoldenEye, Casino Royale, and Goldfinger, top 3, straight up. So I know how much I love Casino Royale. I haven't seen him in a couple years now, even better than I remember, dude. Casino Royale is just better and better and better and better every single time I go back to that movie. It's unreally good, dude. It's unreal how good it is. Really like Skyfall. Spectre I really wanted to like, but still excited for the last one.
I wonder for Spectre. I almost wonder if I would have liked the entire movie better if Leah Seydoux just didn't say "I love you."
The I love you moment caught me so off guard.
It's insanity.
Ian, when it was over,
It's just out of nowhere.
when the movie ended,
I'm like, Leah, no.
when it ended, I kind of went back and I was like fast forwarding through little bits and like trying to find the moment where possibly there could have fallen in love before she says it. And I'm just like,
The only justification I could think of was like she thought she was gonna die, so fuck it.
yeah,
Might as well.
you're about to die.
You're gonna die. Might as well tell someone you love them.
Heightened emotions.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
even then,
I have a controversial claim.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's controversial, but I think
Hot
Daniel
takes.
Craig is the best Bond.
He's
I
one
like
of the
him
best for sure.
I like him
I like
better
him-
than Sean Connery.
I like
Yeah.
him personally the
Yep.
best also because, and I don't know. Again, we were talking about this the other day. I think I don't know if this is my read, and I'm being generous based on knowing like how Daniel Craig feels about the Bond character. But even since Casino Royale, I've thought he's been putting more nuance in the character than he gets credit for.
Yeah.
Like to me, I get the like a lot of people are still like there's a Movies with Mikey episode that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way because he like canceled Bond. He's like, I'm gonna stop. I gotta take a break because you're too misogynistic. And I was like, yeah, the franchise is like Bond is a bad dude.
But in Casino Royale,
but
not
in Casino
really.
Royale and a couple other places, even in Skyfall and Quantum of Solace, like there's a little bit of edge under what he's doing where I'm like, maybe he's just doing this shit for the job. Like he feels bad about all these people he's getting killed and like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe
Well,
maybe I don't know.
After Casino Royale, he doesn't give a shit.
Well, that's
'Cause there's
when
this
he's
scene in
he's
Quantum
hardened,
when
he
he's-
hardens himself.
Yeah, he sleeps with Strawberry Fields,
Yeah.
and then Judi Dench gives him the whole lecture of like, look what you did. She's
Yeah.
dead now because you.
Well, in
did
Quantum of
this.
Solace, he's that's the one where he's the most angry.
Yeah, for
at
sure.
women. Yeah.
For sure.
But then after that, he kind of calms down again. I think. I don't know.
Just Eva Green as Vesper is
Out of control.
I love Casino Royale, dude. Le Chiffre.
We were talking
All of
about
it. It's so good.
We were just talking about it a minute ago, though, how it's like a weird. The pacing and structure of Casino Royale is really bizarre. It's like a 4-act movie with like an epilogue at the end, so like a 5-act
Yeah.
almost.
When's
It
the last
does
time you
keep
watched
going.
it?
It does
It
keep
definitely
going,
ends
yeah.
3 times.
When's the last viewing?
It's
been a couple of years.
For all the
I've seen it on
Daniel Craig
Blu-ray a
ones,
couple
yeah.
of times
Okay.
after that, but yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Cool. And then I'm taking up too much time of watching 100 more things because it's all I do now is like watch movies before I go to sleep.
That's the point.
Lastly-
That's part of the fun
Yeah,
of the
that-
podcast.
Lastly
Yeah,
is
show.
If we didn't even get to the topic, I would be fine.
last night The Walking Dead season 10 premiered.
All right, never mind. I take it back. I take it back. We
So
gotta
here's-
move on.
Shepherd's Hook.
Here's the thing about it is it was in a bad place, but then
That's in a worse place.
The new showrunner, Angela Kang, came in and replaced Scott Gimple, who kind of ran it into the ground. Angela Kang, new showrunner.
Okay.
Last season, season 9, was a really good step in the right direction. It was really good stuff. The new villains, obviously they were in the comics. The Whisperers
Right.
arc, which is the big comic book thing, came in halfway through season 9. So now we're all in on this Whisperers arc, and Samantha Morton is like the main Whisperer villain. It's just really
Was she
good.
Is she the main precog?
She is in Minority Report.
Minority
yes.
Report? Okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking
Good
of the right
pull.
person.
Good pull.
Why that pull? I don't know.
And I'm like season 9 was so good, and now season 10, the premiere was just a really great start. They're really like the whole vibe and the mood of it's changed. Like Ian, we were kind of talking about like how being art house is kind of the trend right now.
Fake art house.
Fake art house?
Art
They're
house
going-
for dumb people.
They're going fake art house with it, really long, drawn out nature shots up on like really tall trees, flowing water. They're going with that route.
I love that shit.
all the
Yeah.
I'm a
tropes.
sucker.
Yeah.
I'm an easy date. Throw that shit in
Me
there.
too.
Like,
Me
I love
too.
It. I love it. I'm in.
Yeah, just some trees with some like electronic
Yeah.
drone under it, like 10, 10,
and
10 out of 10.
like and like we're like 10 years into the zombie apocalypse now. We've
Yeah,
had major
yeah.
time jumps.
Yeah.
So there's like really cool tactics now. They have like this full-on shield wall. We're going like Vikings and spears and bow and arrows.
And this is not a reality, I guess, where the zombies eventually get tired and just die.
No,
Like-
they
like
opened
28
up
days
this.
later?
Yeah, they opened up this boat, and there were these really awesome waterlogged, like 10-year-old decrepit zombies, dude. It looked really cool. Like, just a really solid start to season 10, and it's got new life in the show. It was broken.
I feel like I want you to make like a watch list. Like watch just these episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
A friend of mine back in college did that for me with Star Trek DS9, and I love Star Trek, but like he was like, all right, here, what are you after? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I like this, this, and this, and he's like, okay, these.
Yeah.
And I just watched like the Dominion
Perfect.
War stuff and like Odo, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah. That's the thing is they're capable of like these really banging 10 out of 10 episodes every once in a while.
Yeah.
The main problem is the show will never be what it was because it is a brand and a franchise now. And I miss the days of really when a main character that you've been following for years is standing there talking to you 1 second, and then all of a sudden a zombie comes on screen and just grabs them and bites them and rips them
like,
to
oh, that's it.
shreds.
And you're like, oh, gone.
That
now.
is what the show used to be, that ever-present danger lurking, and any character can just be taken off any second. And the show hasn't been that for like 5 years.
It seems impossible
it seems
to
im-
maintain that
yeah.
over a
Yeah.
decade. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well, then you get into the Game of Thrones thing where like seasons 5, 6, and 7. How many seasons of that damn show were there? 8, right?
yeah.
5, 6, and 7, I was like starting to check out because I was like, the show has trained me that none of these characters or storylines matter. So yeah, you get into a weird. It's a give and take.
Yeah. So the finale of last season really killed a lot of dead weight on the character. No pun intended. It was really awesome. They killed like a ton of characters.
Nice.
I was like, yes, because I don't like you. You're just taking up valuable. The show got too bloated. It's
Is
Game
it
of
like
Thrones style.
did they
where
do what
there's-
like Lost used to do though, where it's like we're gonna kill we're going to kill one character that we know no one cares about, but then we're suddenly going to kill the character everyone likes just so that people give a shit.
Well, I mean, so many people have left the show. Like
Right.
Andrew Lincoln is doing a
Right.
trilogy of movies. Michonne, this is her last season from like Avengers and stuff.
Yeah.
Lauren Cohen, Maggie she left to go to another show, and that show got canceled. So now she's coming back. It's just
I always liked her.
yeah.
I don't
So.
know, whatever. I scrubbed out in season 2 of that damn show.
Walking Dead. It's still going.
Like a decade
Crazy.
ago.
Yeah. Isn't that? But it's like now that Avengers Endgame is over, there are just. I mean, it's still the MCU is still going.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking
But
about?
I feel like there's
It's never over.
There's such few things that you can be
Yeah.
invested
You
in
want a
for
universe
that
to buy
long.
into,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
So every time I turn in Walking Dead, it's like, well, here's the thing that I've been watching now for a decade.
At least it's, consistently there.
yeah.
Which
Took
is
up a
more
lot
than you
of
can
time.
say for a lot of this.
I'm watching a lot of
Huber,
stuff.
I loved it. At one point, you held your mic like a 70s radio jockey, and I was all about it.
Because I wish Walking Dead would reach that level again of like, wow, people can actually die by zombies.
Yeah,
Like,
instead
nah.
of Negan
Yeah.
or whatever his
Now
name
it's
is.
Alpha, dude. The Whisperers. They're such good villains, dude. They're such good villains. I know, I'm getting aggressive.
I was like, okay, don't shake the microphone.
I just get so worked up about it.
Well, I look forward to further summaries.
Definitely. Mid-season finale in 7 weeks.
Okay, all right.
We'll have a
Give me an
check-in.
update. Yeah, we'll have an update.
7 weeks,
In
dude.
like
See
3
you then.
episodes. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, we've run out of time. No, what have you seen?
Thanks for
lately
joining
that
us
you-
this episode.
What did you see lately that you liked
Well,
or didn't like? Or
come
had-
off his zombie TV show talk. My wife Jessica got me into the show iZombie on
I've heard
CW.
that's kind of good. Yeah.
I really like it. It's by the people who made Veronica Mars
Yeah.
and Party Down.
Okay.
And it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. I'm liking it more than I expected to.
My roommate Omar watches that.
Yeah. She goes.
Omar also watches Powers.
That's an old meme. Omar watches Powers is something that Huber just says sometimes. Anyway.
iZombie's cool. Like, this girl is on a boat where a zombie massacre happens, and then she has to go back to her regular life. And then but she's a zombie now secretly, and she's like very pale.
Yeah,
and
zombies are like functioning in this.
Yeah, and she like eats brains to solve mysteries. Like, she gets flashes of the people's lives who
Like
solve brains. So
Skylar?
she almost uses it
What's
like
his name?
like a detective. Yeah, where she's
From
like gonna eat a
Heroes.
piece of the victim's brain and then go solve the murder mystery. But what I like about it is like
Interesting.
it feels like a really cool metaphor for like a character who's gone through some shit.
Hmm.
Because people have a hard time relating to her. Her family and friends are like, "What's up with you? You don't go outside anymore. Your personality is totally different." And meanwhile, she's gone through some terrible shit, and she's like, "Nobody gets me anymore." Could totally relate to that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wasn't expecting that about the show, and it makes it really fun. I have also been watching some anime because it's Halloween. I've been watching Tokyo Ghoul alongside iZombie.
Yeah.
That show's popular with kids, I think. Tokyo
I've heard.
Ghoul.
Yeah, I've heard it's.
Is it a good one?
It's really fun. Yeah, the animation's great. Like a secret tribe of ghouls go around and get in wars with each other and eat humans, and police try and kill them. It's pretty
Sick.
fun. And then I also been watching this anime called Carol and Tuesday.
Damiani, yeah, Damiani.
Carol and Tuesday is really good. It's by
Raven.
Watanabe,
Yeah,
the Cowboy Bebop and
guy.
Samurai Champloo guy.
Nice.
This one is so mellow and so calm and so sincere and heartfelt. And sometimes if you're like really stressed out and had like maybe like a screwed up day and you just want to feel good,
Yeah.
it's these like two young women on Mars trying to become singers and trying to become pop stars. And it's almost like if you could think of the movie Once, you know, where those like is it Irish people like play their acoustic guitar. It's like an anime version of that on Mars.
Okay.
Nice.
And it's really good.
And they're
It's
like,
really good.
Damiani was trying to describe it, and he was like, most music is made by AI. And so they're like the only people making
Who actually
music.
write songs,
Yeah.
from a human perspective.
Sounds
yeah,
dope. Yeah,
it's
I
cool.
really
I
need
really
to
like.
see
It's
it.
really sweet natured, but not
It's
in
on
a way
Netflix,
that
right?
feels like boring or fake. Yeah, it's cool.
Cool.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I gotta see
If you
that.
like Cowboy Bebop style, that guy Watanabe is great at creating very particular feel. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do feudal samurai stuff with hip hop.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna do acoustic pop with Mars. Like, he just mashes weird shit together and it gives it its own tone.
I mean, Cowboy Bebop's my favorite like thing ever. So
Yeah, you'll probably like this.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just came from a movie like an hour ago.
Oh, yeah?
Right
What'd you
before I got
see?
here.
What'd you see?
I saw the new Takashi Miike movie.
Oh,
Wait,
love,
there's
First
First
Love.
Yeah.
It's out. It's just out in theaters right now.
I didn't know that was Miike.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like True Romance, like a love on the run, kind of underworld crime, drug deal gone wrong,
That
and
sounds
it's fun.
dope.
It's I would compare it to Spelunky the video game, but a movie version of that, where you have all this
What?
like it's almost like emergent design. You set up all these weird characters that have kind of like preset behaviors.
Yeah.
and you like throw them in arenas
That's really
together
fun.
and see how they bounce off each other.
That
you're
sounds
like,
great.
oh yeah, this is a samurai cop who's dirty and does a lot of cocaine. How is he going to interact with like the Chinese mafia lady who has the gun, but she's also having hallucinations? Like it's just like you put all these like dozens of people and you just watch them bounce off each other in weird ways. Like their actions are predictable, but the combinations aren't, and it's kind of fun to watch.
cool.
I mean, it's somewhat disposable, but it's
Sure.
good disposable. Like it was a fun
I
movie.
mean,
Glad I
I
saw
love me
it.
some Miike.
Yeah.
He's made so many movies, it's crazy.
Yeah, over 100. Yeah, over
It's
100.
just like bonkers. But I mean, like 13 Assassins.
This is
one
when
of
you
my
can
favorite
take
movies
the
ever.
wife and kids too. I mean, it's a hard R, but
Okay,
it's a
okay.
soft Miike.
Certain kind of
hard R,
kids.
soft Miike.
Yeah. For Miike, a hard R is like a G
Yeah.
compared to what we've seen.
Yeah, so that's my recent watches. Yeah.
Very recent, like hours ago. Yeah.
Hot
Which
take.
where is that playing?
I saw it at the Santa Monica Limley.
Okay.
I love
okay,
the Limley
yeah.
theaters.
Limleys
so,
are cute. Yeah. I saw Mandy at one of those, I think.
Mandy. That's a good Halloween movie.
Mandy,
if people
dude.
haven't seen
It's on his
Mandy,
list. He
It's on
hasn't
my
seen it.
list.
it's hard to know how you'll go on that one, but I think you're gonna love it.
I wonder.
I
as
think
well.
you're gonna. I think you're gonna love
I'm
it.
very anxious to hear what you think of Mandy.
Nice.
Huber. Love me some Mandy.
Mandy is 100% Mandy. It is not 99% Mandy, and that's
Yeah.
what I like about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is
It's
all the way
just
Mandy.
Mandy.
Nick Cage. Nick Cage is cool, I guess.
Nick Cage is perfect in everything. He's never made a bad movie. Even his bad ones are great because he's so watchable. Because he's bonkers.
When I revisited Face Off, dude.
Except for-
I
oh,
was
dude,
just
Face Off
like,
sucks.
This is not good. Yeah.
But it's still like fine to
Yeah.
watch. Maybe his like weird, like I really need to pay off my castle, like weird, like political or religious movies are not that great. I don't know. Like World Trade Center, I never saw that one. But I don't know.
Dude, World Trade Center is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Not as good as United 93.
I saw that
Ooh,
one. That was
Brutal movie.
intense.
Very brutal.
What have I liked recently? Do I like things anymore? I'm not sure. I recently watched the 2018 Suspiria. And have you seen it?
Yeah, I loved parts.
Yeah.
And overall did not
Yeah.
like it. There are parts where I was like, ooh, this should be in a cooler movie. This is a really cool section.
I think I loved parts, and those parts I loved enough to make the overall experience positive. But there are some choices in Suspiria 2018 that I'm like, what? Like, not that I'm confused by them. Well, I am, but like the very, very last shot, not counting the after credits shot, I'm just like, why are we zooming in on this thing? Do you remember?
No, but I do remember there being a lot of unnecessary stuff about Baader Meinhof and Red Army faction
Yeah.
and all kinds of German
Yeah.
political history that didn't seem to have anything to do with the story of Suspiria.
I
That
appreciated what they
that
were
felt weird to
going
me.
for, like trying to set it in a time and place, unlike the first one, where it's just kind of like, whoa, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Beautiful movie with some weird choices. But I think on the whole, I went the other side with it, where I was like, on the whole, I liked it.
It's divisive.
Yeah.
I do say if you have to make a remake, I don't think you have to, but if you have
Yeah.
to, I like that you
Make a-
go in your
make a
own way.
choice, yeah.
Yeah, and they did. It's not a choice I like, but the fact that they were trying to do it meant something. Yeah.
Anytime they have Tilda Swinton playing like 4 people, though, I love that.
Yeah.
Love me some that.
Love me some Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Give me all the Swinton.
But speaking of Swinton, in a movie I didn't like, which is very sad because I love this director, I watched The Dead Don't Die, and boy, is that movie bad.
Oh, is that the Jarmusch zombie movie?
Jarmusch zombie movie? Like, I have a tote bag with all of Jarmusch's movies on it, except for this one because the tote bag came out before the movie did. But like, whoo-wee! What a lazy piece of garbage.
Whoa.
I was so disappointed by it.
Dang.
And it was just like an outdated take. It was really weird. Oh,
Do you
man.
like Jim Jarmusch movies? I have a hard time getting
Name
into
a
I don't know if
few.
you've seen any.
Some of them I really like, and some I can't really get into.
Only Lovers Left Alive is one that you'd probably
That's the
dig.
best one.
It's probably
That's the
one of
best
my
one.
favorite.
Broken
I
Flowers
really
is
like
cool.
Broken Flowers. I really like Mystery Train. It's kind of his little triptych, like vignette one. Have you seen that?
Is that the
one?
Winona Ryder one? Is she in that? No, that's Last Night on Earth.
Yeah.
It's like Jarmusch and Von Trier are like my two gaping holes of like modern auteurs. I haven't seen
Von
like
Trier. I don't know if
any
you
of that
like any
stuff.
Von Trier movies.
Although if you're really on an occasion, if I'm really bummed out, Melancholia is a fun movie to watch if you're bummed out. It cheers me up when I'm bummed out.
It's funny. Melancholia, having suffered from chronic depression for like half of my life, Melancholia is a really nice watch because you feel so seen.
Melancholia makes you feel like you have superpowers if you're
Yeah.
depressed.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
good for you. You have a role in the world.
And
So
it's-
I like that.
It's very Von Trier to say it's the only movie he's ever made that has a happy ending. And spoiler alert, the Earth is destroyed.
Yeah, I actually do know the
in the
ending,
end
yeah.
of that movie.
That's the setup of the movie.
Yeah,
You
I
kinda
mean,
know
you
what's
see it
gonna
in the
happen.
beginning
Yeah.
and the end, but like, yeah, which is very him, isn't it? You'd like Antichrist, maybe?
Ooh.
Maybe you'd
I
like
bounced
it?
off of that one. I stopped watching it halfway through, and I rarely do that. But I was
It's
like, I'm good.
brutal. The
I can handle
log,
anything.
the log to the erect penis and then ejaculating blood, very intense.
Yeah,
That seems
I wasn't
graphic.
crazy about that part.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy watching that.
That was not
I could have done
fun.
without
I mean,
that
Into the
imagery.
Void, I
That's
was
an
like
image
kind
I
of
have
checked
in
out
my
on.
mind now.
Oh,
I've never seen
Enter
Into
the Void.
still.
I was like,
Hey.
whatever. Like, do we really need to see
I bounced off
the
Love,
penis
too.
entering? There's like a camera inside the woman and the penis. Like,
I've seen it.
do we need?
I've seen that before.
What's Gaspar Noe?
Gaspar Noe.
Yeah, a lot of them just tried too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocking you, aren't I?
Gaspar
And I'm like,
Noe-
not really.
yeah,
You're
some
more
of those
just
is like,
irritating me.
You're just making you're kind of just making a porno, which is fine. Like, go for it.
Do what you gotta do.
A Moldovar. Yeah.
You gotta feed the monkey.
Do you like a Moldovar? Because The Skin I Live In is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
then
that one.
Antonio?
What?
Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
That one I
The
need
cover-
to see again.
The cover disturbed me, dude.
I
didn't
don't know.
watch
I don't know why I like that movie so much. But then some of his other ones, I'm like, like Talk to Her. I was kind of like,
Yeah, that was a weird message to send
yeah.
and
I'm
talk
like,
to
wait,
her.
What are we?
Yeah.
What are we saying here? But yeah, didn't like the Joker. Saw that the other day. Just Joker, I guess.
Check out Spoiler
Yeah,
Mode
we did a
if
whole
you want to hear
spoiler
us
mode on
talking
that.
about it.
I don't even want. Huber and I, we
Spoiler
came to the
mode.
consensus like we don't care. We don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
movie.
honestly, like I really liked watching the movie, and then when 2 days passed and I realized I hadn't thought about the movie one time,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I guess I don't really care about it.
yeah. I just don't care.
Yeah, it was good. It was fine.
I feel like I saw something else, but can't remember it right now.
I watched
we-
Brightburn. You ever see Brightburn?
I don't know what
I
that
heard it
is.
was all right. I heard it was
James
just
Gunn
okay.
produced.
Oh, no. I
It's
It's
definitely
like
haven't heard of
a
it.
evil superhero.
If Superman became evil.
Yeah.
That's kind of like his
Horror
didn't James
movie.
Gunn direct a movie Super. I had a friend who was
Yeah.
on Super, and that one was
Super-
really interesting. With Rainn
Super
Wilson, that
is
was dark. It was really dark.
Depressing.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's up, Huber? What's up? You're making
I have to
faces.
spoil it.
What?
It's kind of a spoiler.
What? Super?
I think they're in the same universe.
Oh,
Super and Brightburn.
Cool.
I
That's
think.
cool. That makes me want to
I
see
hope
it.
I didn't spoil that. I'm sorry I did.
I'm not mad.
But yeah,
That's actually
That's a selling point.
Cool.
that's one of the only things that got me like a tick closer to seeing Brightburn, and I still probably won't.
yeah. It was actually pretty good. Elizabeth Banks in there as
Oh.
the lead, and yeah, it's basically just like
Showgirls?
Superman.
Or no, that's someone else. Who's Elizabeth
Moore?
Banks?
Elizabeth Banks she's in Hunger Games.
Oh, okay.
and,
Okay. Like the
pitch-
comedian one.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the blonde,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
blonde hair. Oh,
yeah,
she's
yeah,
great.
blonde hair. Yeah, she's
Well Hot
funny.
American Summer. Did you see in
Is
Well
she-
Hot American
yeah, she's in
Summer?
that. Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
like the one who's
I
got like
love
barbecue
Wet Hot
sauce all over her face.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, what? Yeah.
She directed and starred in the new Charlie's Angels.
I love Wet Hot American Summer.
That's a great movie.
Anyway,
yeah.
the Superman boy crash lands and they raise him on the farm, and it's the Superman origin story. But then the kid,
He's just like, I can do whatever I want.
well, it's the whole story of the kid friggin' likes a girl and the girl's creeped out, and then he gets really angry, so then he starts freaking out and killing everyone. It's that whole plot line. So
Oh,
it's
great.
kind of unsettling in that sense, but it was interesting. I like Elizabeth Banks a lot. I'm like a
Yeah.
big Elizabeth Banks fan.
I like her.
So it was cool. It was fine.
Yeah.
And it's in the super universe, so.
Yeah. Who's in A Simple Favor? Blake Lively.
Dude, Blake Lively,
She's
Gossip
cool too.
Girl,
Yeah, she's
bro. XOXO.
Oh yeah, in that movie, her character is fascinating.
Yeah, it's
she
cool.
does a great job.
It's
with
very
that.
similar to like
Yeah.
Gone Girl, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never watched Gossip Girl.
XOXO. Gossip
XOXO.
Girl. Kristen Bell, dude. Gossip Girl.
She's in that too.
Blake Lively, Leighton Meester, dude. Blair Waldorf for life.
All of the people's names you just described sound very similar and like pretend.
Blair Waldorf is one of
Blair
the best
Waldorf.
characters of all time on TV. Don't
Oh,
at
that's
me.
the character name.
Yeah, she's the
okay.
best.
Then they are made up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some psychological
Let's
horror.
do it.
Uh,
yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Whoops.
Here we go.
Oh,
Here we go.
My
Here we
notes
go.
just disappeared for some reason. What's going on here? What's going on here? What's going
The Shining.
That's one.
Number one.
What the hell?
That's my favorite one.
It's the culmination.
You know, I watched The Shining again last year.
it's the best.
I cried during The Shining.
There's
I was
nothing
like,
better.
I must be getting old. Because
You're
when I
getting
was
soft.
younger, I was like, oh, The Shining, like I get it, it's kind of scary, but it's not that scary. But The Shining is emotionally horrifying.
Yeah.
Like the things that make The Shining so scary to me is when Jack is in the middle. This is not too much of a spoiler, but Jack Nicholson goes a little weird and he starts like threatening to kill his
I
family.
think the statute of limitations.
yeah,
is up on
if
The
you haven't seen
Shining.
The Shining, it's on you. This is the one time, no sympathy. Spoil
Yeah.
away.
So he's on a murderous
No
rampage,
remorse.
but he has these
Yeah.
he has these flashes of like normalcy where he sits down his son on his lap. He's like, "Hey, buddy, I don't want to hurt you. You're my buddy.
Yeah.
You're my buddy." And then he goes back to like, I'm trying to find a word that's not disparaging mental illness.
Yeah.
But he goes a little cuckoo.
Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Another Jack
Whoa.
Nicholson film.
But that's what's so scary to it is like
He's
it's
compulsive.
It's your
He's-
friend that's doing this
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
It's your dad. It's your buddy. It's your pal who is becoming violent and trying to get you. I think that's what makes the movie so horrifying.
one of my favorite endings
Yeah.
too, of all
Well, yeah.
time.
And The
dude.
Shining is one of the inspirations for the title of this very
Yeah, it
podcast. Like just because like I love all the shots in that movie where we don't see what they're looking at. You know, it's like, man, that's scary.
It's such a beautiful movie. That movie is perfect.
I really
it's
like
perfection.
The Shining. Yeah, I've been to the hotel that was the exterior.
Dude,
Ooh.
awesome.
That was pretty weird. It's
That's
creepy.
cool.
And like I didn't realize, and like we got there, and I was like, "Why does this place look familiar?" Oh God! And I was like, "Oh."
Was it when the blood came out of the elevator that it clicked
That's
in?
when
You're like, oh,
that's
this is
when
the
I realized.
hotel.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's that place."
The Shining is one of those rare things that is like so overhyped, but it lives.
Can it be?
It,
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
still
Yeah, it's hyped.
delivers. It's like the Beatles, you know, where like the Beatles are the best band of all time, says everyone, and then people are like, whatever, they're all right. Like I challenge anyone to watch The Shining and not be like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
The Beatles, hot take. I really like the Beatles.
Here we go.
No. I really
Here
like,
we go.
I really like
Are
the
you going
Beatles.
to cancel the Beatles?
No.
Here we go.
I really like the Beatles one or two songs at a time, but if I listen to too much in a row, it kind of like I get
To
tired.
me,
I get
Abbey
tired.
Road
They're too
is
happy.
flawless.
Chill out,
I get
dudes.
tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get tired.
Dude,
of it.
Abbey Road though, from front to back.
I guess actually let me caveat that like mostly I've only ever listened to the red one with the big one on it. They're number ones.
Oh, that's not right.
So like
That's-
right,
it's
so
not
like
telling the story.
They're not telling the story. It's just the
Yeah.
hits. So maybe that's why, because it's always like just the hits.
Gotta
Maybe
listen to
that's why.
Revolver. Put on like the whole album.
I
of
gotta listen to one of their
Revolver.
actual. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably my problem. That's on me. That's my fault.
Nothing's your fault. You're fine.
It's my fault.
It's just the Beatles. It's fine.
I also like The Witch, Silence of the Lambs.
Is this your list?
Yes.
No, that's just the two.
Do
that I
you
thought
think he
right
thinks
now.
of different scenarios while explicit?
I saw the sign.
I can smell your.
Explicit.
Yeah.
I saw Silence of the Lambs way too young. Like
Me
way
too,
too
I think.
young.
Me too. Me
I was
too.
in a
Hey,
hotel
no-
room and turned the channel to that, and he was like eating somebody alive on an elevator, and I was just like, it was way too much.
No disrespect to one of the best movies of all time, but I'm not going to miss an opportunity to dive right in to Hannibal, the show.
The show.
Can we please talk about it?
It came up. Someone
Yes.
literally
Yes.
just said their comment was like, "I just want you to talk about Hannibal."
Yes, dude. Yeah, let's, dude.
Here we go. Have you
What
seen
a good
Hannibal?
day. It's a good day.
You need to watch.
I can't
Hannibal.
do it. I can't do serial killer shit. Like,
It's-
serial killer stuff's way too much for me.
Yeah.
That,
well,
flips
no,
me
I
out.
respect that because
respect
Hannibal, the show,
Yeah.
is the most deeply affecting thing I've ever seen. And like, it was on NBC. And I mean, we've talked about it before on this, but it's like the way it was the most disgusting. And I don't usually get too skeeved out by like grotesqueries in movies because I'm like, this is fake. But Hannibal, dude, it's unsettling because they shoot it like food. They shoot the and I'm sure this is just my theory, but they light it and shoot it like food.
Yeah.
And like you're looking at a corpse, but they shot it like they're trying to make you hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is really upsetting to me
Yeah,
right now.
it's
This
so
is
disturbing.
nasty.
It's so nasty.
and it was
Because
on NBC.
And it balances everything so perfectly. It balances like the legacy of the character and all those expectations of like, hey, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal. It balances like really good gore and horror. It balances like intimate character bonds between him and
like
what's
Mads
his name?
Mikkelsen,
Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy.
Hugh Dancy's character, whose name was, what was his
It's
name?
freaking me out.
Starts with an M, maybe.
Edward Norton
He
in
was
Red
really good.
Dragon.
Yeah,
What
he's
the
really
hell
good
is
in
his
it,
name?
though. He's like the character in the books.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're sorry.
It's
can't
been a
remember that
while.
right now. It's been a hot minute.
It's been off the air for a while.
It's been. I haven't seen it since it was on the air
Yeah,
because I
same.
can't do it anymore. But
Same.
it's really the performances
Yeah.
are incredible. But yeah, if normal serial killer stuff skeeves you out, this one would skeeve times 1,000 because it's oh boy.
They talked about bringing it back for one last hurrah. And even though it's a canceled show and there's nothing,
It ends well.
It ends really well. I do want to drive that home. It's so hard. You know, a lot of people didn't watch Deadwood until the movie just came out because
Which I heard wasn't very good.
I haven't watched the movie yet.
Yeah,
Because Deadwood ends kind of on a big cliffhanger. They're really building up to something, and then that thing doesn't really happen, and it's like, oh, next season, which never happened. So I get
I hear
people.
Carnival is like that too.
Yeah, and I get people not wanting to
saw
jump
it,
into
yeah.
a show that got canceled, but like I urge people to get into Hannibal. It is so good.
Once again, I will plug Patriot on Amazon because
It was canceled.
I got I got the news that it was canceled, but which confused me because I thought they intentionally stopped it too. Like, because that's how well it ended. And then, like, 3 months later, I'm like, they were like, it's canceled. And I'm like, what? I thought it just ended.
Yeah.
Whatever. Patriot's a good show.
Watch it.
Fleabag's also amazing. But, Hannibal, dude.
Check it out.
Well, I had a question for you, or both of you. What is like the definition of psychological horror? Because I was trying to go down a list of like what counts as this and what doesn't. And then when I was looking at my list of movies I put in that column, I was like, oh, they're just movies I consider good.
I'm gonna
like
give
good
you
horror
right.
movies
Good
are
horror movies are
psychological horror,
yeah.
and
gonna
bad
give you
horror movies aren't.
the quick Huber take is if I'm watching a horror movie and my mind doesn't stop thinking. Because when I watch a slasher, say like Friday the 13th or Hatchet or just some low-budge horror, when it's not psychological, I'm just like, I'm watching it and like, it's more of a ride. There are moments when it's like, okay, here we go, scary segment. You know, somebody's creeping through the house, something's gonna happen. Ah! Whereas like a psychological horror movie to me is one from start to finish that I am just zoned in on, waiting, trying to kind of piece things together. More like emotional character bonds. You don't really get those in slashers.
Yeah.
So it's just, like psychological horror is to me the best kind of horror.
Well, it's funny that this came up because the first question I asked the patrons, if you're in the $7 and up tier, you're in the Easy Allies Film Club, you can, send us money. The first question I asked was, what is the difference between psychological horror and good old-fashioned horror?
Yeah.
And I got some very thoughtful, interesting responses.
Sick. Let's hear them.
Some of these are a little longer, but I kind of liked them. So I'll try to edit as I read, but I'm just going to go through a few of them. And if anything jumps out, jump in. Lunk said, I think with psychological horror, empathy is at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
The state of the primary character's mental state is revealed pretty early, so that whatever manifests itself as the movie's horror has a context with their psyche. And you look at everything on a metaphorical level. For traditional horror, it's as simple as there's something evil in the air, or the forward motion of the horror relies on how scary the sort of entity is. Udit Singh said that I think I was looking at this psychological horror creepypasta section called Horror of the Brain that gave me some clarity. Our nervous system is not just our brain, but our spinal cord as well, with its extensions. So fear responses are distributed amongst this. Most of our fear responses are situated in our spinal cord, which helps with reflex action, the fight or flight, The parts where reflex is not possible go more to the brain. So psychological terror tries to keep you in a place where bodily fear responses don't cut it, and the situation faced is unfathomable to the point that your body doesn't know what to do. And the pressure is on your mind to make sense of it. Whoa. I love that. Rui Mendez says, I always felt that the two different descriptions for psychological horror, there are two. One for the way the characters feel diegetically in relationship to the horror and translate that horror to the audience to experience as well. For example, Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, I love Jacob's Ladder. By the way, I can really relate to that movie heavily, which probably is character revealing to say that. But I experienced some similar things to that fella in Jacob's Ladder. Like, I went through the same kind of like emergency crisis that he did with a different resolution. But yeah.
Your chiropractor didn't tell you that the devils were angels trying to free you from your life?
I heard that in some trip hop song. They sampled that.
It's used in Rabbit in the Headlights by UNKLE.
Yeah.
Which also has Tom York singing in it.
That video is cool. It's got
That's
a cool
very
music
good,
video.
very good video. Very good song. But I love Jacob's Ladder also.
Jacob's
I saw
Ladder's
that one probably a little too young.
You've seen it too?
I saw that when I was like 9 or something. And
if you saw it when you were 40, that's a little too young.
Yeah.
That movie's scary.
Yeah. Confronting your own death. Tra-la-la. Also... did that movie come before Silent Hill or after Silent Hill?
Before.
Really?
Dude, Jacob's Ladder.
I
thought it was early, dude. That's like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
It's like a 90s movie.
Okay, so Jacob's Ladder was... Oh.
That's the remake this year.
There's a 2019 remake.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
They can keep it. 1990.
Okay, 1990. Jacob's Ladder was 1990.
I think that's before Silent Hill.
Silent Hill had to be
Yeah,
after that. Yeah.
Dude, Resident Evil was 98. So.
99.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, definitely Silent Hill was inspired by the like fast-moving like weirdo things. Yeah, obviously. What am I talking about? Obviously,
Classic.
Silent Hill came way after that.
Classic.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder is dope.
Yeah.
And the other, to continue that statement, would be slow, methodical horror made by a film that does not show but makes you feel instead. Alien and The Thing would be the favorites for that from this person. For me, both descriptions convey psychological horror if done right.
Yeah, I was watching Alien, which, I mean, I've seen it before, obviously, a lot. It's one of my favorite movies, but I was watching it recently. And then I was like, I think this is psychological horror, even though you have a creature trying to kill people. It's filmed and the story is told in that way. I was watching it, and this is maybe an interesting, maybe not an interesting story. I'm going to tell it anyway.
Everything you say is
I was watching it like Friday night. And then I was getting like Postmates tacos delivered, and like I stop. It's like late at night, and I stop Alien to go out in the dark in like my front yard to get my Postmates delivered. I'm
paused Alien when you were watching it.
Yeah, well, I'm a little on edge. I'm getting dinner. I've seen Alien a billion times.
Where are your pills, Hubert?
Anyway, so I go out to get the Postmates, and the dude who's delivering it kind of looks like a little like Joe Rogan, like muscly, tough guy, dude.
Yeah.
And he was a little aggro. He like forgot my drink, which not a big deal. Whatever, that happens.
That's the Postmates promise.
Willing to forgive and forget, but I was like, oh, did the drink come with it? Because I didn't want to be the one who forgot. And he goes, no, you didn't order a drink. And then like he showed me his cell phone, and I was like, yeah, that's my drink right there. I ordered. He's like, fine, I'll give you a drink. He goes to his car, gets like a Diet Coke, which I can't drink Diet Coke. It gives me headaches. But I didn't order a Diet Coke. He's like, here, this is your drink. You ordered this. And he was like really angry. And I'm like,
dude,
it's cool. I don't need it. He's like, yeah, you do need it. And he grabbed the bag away from me of tacos, tore it from me, and shoved the Diet Coke inside. He's like, there's your drink. And I was like, And then I went back inside and sat down with the Diet Coke I didn't want. And I couldn't finish watching Aliens because I was a little too scared. I was like, I don't need to be more scared than I am right now.
This guy,
what the hell?
Your Alien
that was a psychological horror experience.
Please tell me that you like reported that.
No, because like he knows where I live, so I just kind of. Yeah. I didn't want him to come back. He's like, something wrong with the Diet Coke. You know, I just pictured him like, waiting on my front porch one night.
That's the beginning of a 2019 horror film right there.
That is a really good idea for a 2019 or 2020 horror movie. Is
Diet
a
Coke you don't want to drink.
Psychotic, food
food
delivery.
yeah. Uber driver. That's
Uber
so
driver.
Like a home invasion
perfect.
thing.
It's like too real. It's too real.
That's gonna happen. There probably already is like a bad
I'm
version
sure,
of it
I'm
out there, but
sure,
like
yeah.
the Hollywood version of that's only a matter of time. Good call. Like
Ugh.
searching,
Searching is good.
just like using like modern technology to tell a new type of horror story.
Searching is good.
Yeah.
That is a unsettling story.
It
Very-
was unsettling. I still need to finish Alien because it was like a 4K Blu-ray
Oh.
one. And I'm like, I gotta.
Dude.
The
You
HDR
should've-
colors were so.
Oh, you
cool.
should have told me this.
You're
Well,
speaking
yeah,
Huber's
yeah,
language
yeah.
right now.
The blues look really good on the 4K Blu-ray.
Have you watched?
You think of it as a green movie, but there's some
Yeah.
nice blues.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Blu-ray of Batman animated series?
I want to though because I love that.
I was watching it on a
Yeah.
streaming service, and I don't know if it's
Dude,
the
the-
restoration or not.
The Blu-ray restoration is mind-blowing.
Is it really good?
It's so perfect. Oh,
Ugh.
it's so
I
good.
should get it.
Yeah, it's worth
I've
it.
been wanting to go through that again.
Yeah.
So good.
Like once you get to like the first like 5 or 10 episodes are a little like
Yeah.
they're like
Well, I
working
mean-
it out, but then you get to like
Dude,
episode
for,
like
for first episodes though, they're so solid.
phenomenal
compared to
some of the
some
best.
shows?
Yeah.
Also, season 1 has 65
Yeah.
episodes.
I'm just saying like
Something
the
like that?
animation quality.
Oh, I see.
By the time you're on episode 10, like the way it translates to Blu-ray and stuff is just like it's so good looking.
Dope.
4K Alien.
4K
Dude. I don't have 4K.
Gotta get
yet.
on it. It's
Don
like
Casanova,
$12.
dude.
Pick
Special.
it up. Yeah.
I'm waiting till PS5 to really invest in 4K because
I have a
don't have
projector. 4K projectors don't work. they're either way too expensive
Yeah.
or just not bright enough, or like there's something wrong with them. Too much latency, whatever. Where were we? Megan Leinart says, I guess for me, when it comes to psychological horror, I personally feel more connected to it, especially with the characters themselves. You can really get the strong sense of connection with them by just trying to understand them, and that's where a lot of the horror can come from. I mean, an example of this to me would be Midsummer, because while I don't think Midsummer was a perfect film, the Florence Pugh's performance in that is just next level.
Yeah.
Like the way she does panic attacks and everything is just oh man.
it's like I think of Insidious 3, you have this franchise and it's the third one and you're like, wow, Insidious 3, like how far can we really take
Yeah.
this? Like how, what
Apparently really far.
tricks can we do? And the lead actress, the daughter of the film, gets like possessed or is haunted or whatever, and like her struggle is so raw and real. The entire movie, I'm just like, please live, please live.
What's your catchphrase about that? You had a
yeah,
catchphrase.
wanted-
Girls gotta live.
Wanted her to live. Yeah, we had
wanted
that. Wanted her to live is my horror mantra. If any time I'm watching a horror movie and I'm saying I want him to live, it's like
Yeah.
a 10 out of 10 for me.
I don't
if
like
I'm
when
that
they make
invested,
them all jerks.
Yeah.
Some horror movies do it wrong where they're like all jerks and like,
Yeah.
okay, these
Yeah.
people are irritating. I hope
What
they
movie
die.
did I-
You
what-
want when you have friends and then the friends start dying, you're like, oh, but
Yeah.
I like
You're like,
them.
no, I like
Yeah.
that. They were the good one.
yeah.
What movie did I just watch where everyone was trash? And
Halloween,
she-
there was some pretty
she
trashy
didn't
people. It was
care
pretty
about
good. The
anything
remake.
that was happening. Oh, I don't know. I watched The Island,
said-
the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life,
Yeah.
and we watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
I almost think they did it on purpose. Also, it's by Neil LaBute, who is a very controversial figure, but who does
Neil LaBute.
he
He
does
did
some-
Hell on Wheels a little bit.
He did,
Yeah.
In the Company of
In the Company of Men, which is
Your
really
Friends and
good.
Neighbors. I haven't watched that since high school.
I mean, I haven't
do they
seen
hold up?
I haven't seen it in the Company of Men since college, and I'm a different person now. But who knows? So maybe it's bad. But I just remember the end of that movie being really cool to me. But he's famous for doing characters that are super misogynistic, but you never know if he's celebrating them or decrying this behavior. You know what I mean? So it's weird. But yeah, Neil LaBute, dude. Oh my God, trash, cancel. That was the worst thing I've ever seen. The Island.
The
on
Island.
Netflix. If you're curious about the worst thing ever created by human beings,
Fear the
as
Walking
far
Dead,
as
season
TV,
4. Season 5.
this might give it a run. Give it a glance. It's
close.
hilarious.
Okay.
It's inexplicable. It seemed like people always make jokes about Neil Breen or whatever, where it's this feels like it was written by an alien who's never seen humans talk. It's that's what this is actually. People behave in ways that make no sense. Anyway, The Island, psychological horror. Udit Singh says, a great part of psychological horror is the lingering sensation that creates uneasiness with you long after you've finished the movie, which I completely agree with. I was just telling him that's why I can't watch It. Because it scarred me as a child, and I'm like, I'm not going to get these images out of my head if I watch this new one.
Hot take for me, It 1, masterpiece.
I heard It 2 is not really good.
Masterpiece. It 2 was so flawed, but I loved it. 1 to me is just a masterpiece. I thought it was a perfect movie, honestly. I love It 1. One of my favorite horror movies.
People, I mean, I don't think that's a hot take. People seem to like that first one.
Cool.
A lot.
I hope so.
I don't know.
Because I think it's one of the best possible.
I don't know.
The
Highest
non-scary
stamp.
parts are good. I like seeing the kids get along. That's fun.
The scary parts are good.
Yeah.
Do you not like scary things, or you do?
Oh,
But
I
you're
do.
just saying
Yeah,
for
I
me.
really do. No. I was saying, I think that surprised me about the new.
Oh,
It.
I see. I
It
see
was
what
like
you're saying.
when the clown wasn't doing some creepy shit. Like it was really entertaining
Right,
to watch
right,
those
right.
kids have their fun time, and it was like very much Stand By Me mixed in with scary clown.
Yeah.
So they
It's
did a
funny-
good job with that.
I have a real weird place in my life because I really, really like, like crisp fall vibes movies. Like OG Halloween, The Thing, like God tier. Even The Ninth Gate, like
Have
say
you
what you
seen-
will about Polanski, piece of trash. But
you
like
seen the newest
Ninth
Halloween?
Gate has like weird. What?
Tell me you saw the newest.
Newest what?
The David
Halloween.
Gordon Green Halloween.
Tell
How
me
is
you
that?
saw it, Ian.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I'm curious about it. I like David Gordon Green a lot. I like his TV shows.
What else has he
So-
done? That name is so familiar.
He
to me
did George Washington, but he also does like Vice Principals and Righteous Gemstones. He's that.
maybe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was. I worked on Pineapple Express. Yeah. That was a fun movie. to
Wait,
work
you
on.
haven't seen the new? Please watch it for Halloween.
With Jamie Lee Curtis.
Please watch it, Ian. Please,
Okay,
please,
okay,
please,
okay,
pretty
okay,
please,
okay,
please,
alright,
please,
okay,
please.
I'll watch it.
I like Danny McBride. I think he's really funny. Is he in this? Yeah.
I forget if he was.
He's
I
hit
don't
or
think
miss
so.
for me. Sometimes I like him.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find him really annoying.
Yeah.
I freaking love the Halloween reboot.
Yeah,
that
this one?
too, yes.
The like third reboot of Halloween.
Because remember they do the weird thing where they retcon everything else, so it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
direct sequel to Halloween 1. They've
Halloween
disregarded
1?
Yes.
What? Jamie Lee was in several other ones though.
So there's
Wasn't she?
3 different timelines of Halloween.
Oh boy, here we
Yeah. There's the timeline that goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Then there's the timeline with like H2O or something.
go. Yeah.
I know more about Friday the 13th than Halloween, so I'm not 100% sure on the
sure, okay.
timeline intricacies. I apologize. But this timeline just goes Halloween original to this.
Okay. It's like the proposed new Alien movie. That
Exactly.
would just be the third one.
Yeah. Dude.
Even though the assembly cut of Alien 3, I still like.
Ian, I think you're really going to like the rebit.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
Dude.
The trailer got me stoked because like Jamie Lee Curtis being
Yeah.
like
Badass.
a badass
Dude,
who's
it's
like
so good.
who's like been afraid or well not even afraid
Yeah.
but like preparing. What's the line from the trailer? She's like, I've been hoping he'd escape
She's like,
so she could kill him.
Yeah, she's like, I hope he escapes. She like,
It's
basically,
just like,
yeah.
all right, okay.
Dude, it's so good. That's like between that's in my same category as like It One, The Witch,
The Witch is so good.
The Babadook, Midsummer.
Babadook is a good
follows
psychological horror.
like
I've been
all
too
of
afraid to watch
those
that one.
top tier horror movies. Like Halloween is right
Too
there.
afraid to watch the Babadook?
Yeah.
I love it. It's
I've been
so
too afraid.
good. It's so creative.
'cause
Also, if you
here's the
like
thing-
David Lynch, it feels
Well,
like
that's true.
the woman who directed it is working in that lineage.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's cool.
It grew on me
I don't
over
think there
the
are that many
months.
jump scares. I don't think.
Well,
There
and
may
like,
be one
but
or
like
two.
ghosty stuff gets like lingering images. I was telling him like I can just shut my eyes and like conjure stuff
Yeah.
from the Haunting of Hill House or Hereditary or whatever.
Hereditary, dude. Culmination.
Too much foreshadowing. Predictable. This is an ongoing tete-a-tete
Yeah.
that we have about
Yeah.
Ari Aster films, where I think they're really predictable and he loves them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get the idea. I had a few other pulled, but we get the idea of what a psychological horror movie is. I think
Those are really good definitions.
Those are really good.
I like movies that aren't in the horror genre, but as they develop, the material is so horrific that you're
Yeah.
like, this kind of feels like a horror movie. Like
Yeah.
Old Boy is kind of like a drama action movie, but at its heart, the emotions feel horrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those are some movies I generally love.
I love
like
that
is Blue Velvet a horror movie? It
Like
kinda
Silence of the
feels
Lambs
it.
to me. Silence of the Lambs
Silence of the Lambs, Blue
is
Velvet.
that line.
Several people brought up the anime Perfect Blue.
Perfect, dude.
Satoshi Kon is a great director. I
But
love
I mean,
that
like,
guy. Yeah.
that is like an ultimate psychological horror.
Yeah,
to me.
100%.
It's like you are, like a few people brought it up. A few people even said like, you can't tell what's real. You don't know what's going on. But
Can I
like
use the restroom?
characters.
Mid-episode restroom break. Is this unorthodox?
I'll allow it. We'll just
we'll
keep
hold the
talking.
fort down.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You
We'll
don't
just
need
keep
me.
going without you. We need you.
You don't need me for this.
Should you need us?
We'll just talk about Ari Aster while you're gone, with no one here to defend him.
Look, I get it. Foreshadowing is a cool tool, but when you overuse it, it just makes your movies predictable. That's
Ari Aster is a cool tool. No, I don't know him. Sorry, I take that back. I'm sure he's a nice guy.
No, yeah,
I'm not a fan of the movie.
Or
His-
like,
yeah.
or either that, or like he and I just like think the same way. So like he does what I would have done, making them. I don't know what it is.
I haven't seen Midsummer because Hereditary kind of bummed me out a
It's a
little
bit of a bummer,
Like
yeah,
it
it's a
didn't
bummer.
make me feel bad in the right way.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
gross. But Midsummer, I'm super curious about because I love horror movies in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of fun. Plus,
Midsummer,
the
it's-
weird
yeah.
culty thing. Like I definitely have some relationship with that. So
Yeah,
like,
you do. Have you seen the original Wicker Man?
yeah, I love the original.
Because I
Wicker
think, yeah,
Man.
me
That
too.
one's
I
really
love
cool.
the
Yeah.
original Wicker Man. I think the original Wicker Man is better than Midsummer.
It's in a similar
they're-
territory.
It's
The
basically
commercial
very
felt like
similar
that, yeah.
kind of But Midsummer's for sure worth it. It's just not a perfect movie, but
Yeah.
I think you would dig it. It's not scary.
That's cool.
It's just kind of like it's just heavy.
Yeah,
It's just
well,
really
that's what I
heavy.
was worried about. Is it like a movie if you watch it with people and it's over, you're like, oh, what do we talk about now? Like Requiem for a Dream, where you're just kind of like the
Right.
mood is a little.
Which I would say someone else called it out too, but I would say Requiem for a Dream is a psychological horror movie, kind of,
Yeah, it totally feels that
But
way.
yeah, Midsummer, you leave it feeling like heavy. But
I watched High Life this year. That outer space
I need to see
movie
that one. I need to
with
see that.
Juliette Binoche
Yeah.
and Robert Pattinson.
I need to see
That
it.
feels like a psychological horror movie, even though it's ostensibly a drama. I'm not sure if I liked it.
Okay.
It has some explosive content in there. I don't know how much. Do you know about this movie, High Life?
With just Pattinson.
yeah, I want
yeah.
to see, it's on
the
my list.
filmmaker, I've always wanted to see one of her movies. It's like a French filmmaker, Claire Denis.
Oh,
I
yeah, Claire
think.
Denis.
Yeah. It's a hard movie to take. It's not a pleasant movie.
Yeah.
It's about criminals in outer space doing criminal stuff in outer space. And
Claire Denis is great.
yeah. What else has she done
I
that
want to
you would
say
recommend?
I'm looking it up, but I want to say
always-
Top of the Lake was her.
Oh, I thought that was Jane Campion.
Nope, that's Jane Campion.
Yeah.
You're right.
I've always, I know she's like a big filmmaker, and I've always wanted to see something of hers. So Highlight.
Okay, yeah,
was my-
Chocolat was hers, the original.
Oh, weird. These couldn't be more different movies then.
Let the Sunshine In.
Let the
Anyway.
right one in.
High Life if you want to see
Let
some
the right
creepy
one in.
space stuff.
That's one of my favorite psychological horror movies.
The foreign one or the American one?
The first one, the foreign.
I haven't seen the American one.
never
know some
saw-
people swear by the American
I never
one.
saw the
saw it.
remake. Actually, I never saw it
Never
because
saw the Old Boy remake.
I never saw that either.
Oh, speaking of vampires and Old Boy.
Thirst?
Thirst is his best
Thirst.
movie. I
Thirst is
love
amazing.
Thirst.
You like Thirst?
Thirst.
Yeah, Thirst is
Thirst is
so
probably
good.
like 2 hours and 40 minutes long. But
It's
it,
such
like,
a
feels
cute
so
love
good.
story.
What was
Thirst
the one
is
with
amazing.
Mia
Pharaoh?
Wasikowski
Oh,
and Matthew Good?
Wait, are you talking about Crimson Peak?
No,
because that is
from the Korean director, the horror movie.
Uh,
Matthew Good.
it's like Close Choker or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I haven't seen
I
that.
don't know this
Yeah.
movie. I've never
It's
heard
his
of it.
American film. I
Yeah.
haven't
Oh.
seen that one yet.
Yeah.
But no, Thirst is amazing. Only Lovers Left Alive is amazing. That's more of like a vampire hangout movie, though. That's not really.
Yeah,
horror.
I'm not even sure if that's horror.
No,
but
I wouldn't say that's.
that's
horror.
Jim Jarmusch's best movie. That one, I think
it's maybe
you
my favorite.
recommended
I
that
think,
really
yeah.
hard
I
to
think
me,
I
and I
did
saw
rec-
it,
yeah.
and I really
Oh yeah,
liked
we
it.
talked about how
Yeah.
you didn't like Jarmusch, and I was shocked, and I was like, "Watch Only Lovers Left Alive." But yeah, Let the Right One In is so good. The original.
in so
I never
long.
saw the old one. Let the Right One In is the pinnacle to me of the kind of movie where it's like days later or leaving the theater, you have a realization about the movie that changes, like recontextualizes the entire thing.
Love that.
I love that.
Under the Skin is a movie like that.
Under the Skin, yeah.
Under the Skin, whenever I watch that movie, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. The
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson one, I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if I like this. And then 2 days later, something clicks. I'm like, oh, wait, never mind. I love it.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
I was kind of like that too, because when I was watching it, I was like, man, this looks so good, and I like the way it looks, but it's kind of just the same thing over and over again 6 times. Why? And then I found out afterwards that almost all the men in the movie didn't realize they were being filmed, and it was like shot guerrilla with hidden cameras and stuff, and they actually thought they were just getting picked up by this like hooker or whatever that Scarlett Johansson was playing. And it's
and
just
she's
like,
really an alien.
yeah, and it's just like, what?
That was based on a book, Under the Skin. And
Okay.
I can't remember the author's name, but he's really cool. He has a good book called Book of Strange New Things. It is amazing. One of the best books I've read in a long time. It was
Dang.
about, in real life, that author's wife was dying. And he
Michael
was like,
Faber?
he was like, this is going to be the last book I write.
Whoa.
And it's a metaphor about his relationship with his wife, but he wrote it about a missionary to Mars who's trying to teach aliens Christianity.
Oh, God.
And somehow that's a metaphor for his relationship with his dying wife, because the missionary to Mars
'Cause in
leaves the
real
wife
life-
back at home.
In real life, his wife was dying?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
sad.
yeah. It's really sad, but it's such a heartbreaking, touching book, and it kind of like pokes fun at religion in a soft way, which I think usually if you do it that way, it's a little bit more incisive. And if
Yeah.
you're super satirical,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, I
You're
get
like,
it, you're
okay,
a
we
bratty
get it.
kid.
You hate,
But this one's
yeah.
sort of like softly criticizing it in a way that just feels kind of gracefully bittersweet. It's a
Wow.
great book, Book of Strange New Things. Any fans of Under the Skin, I go recommend that book by the same author. Yeah.
I haven't read
cool.
the book, but I've listened to the Neo opera by Ben Frost for The Wasp Factory.
You mentioned this to
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
You ever
yeah.
listen to it?
Mm-mm.
That's I would call that a psychological horror.
Yeah, that sounds like
Opera.
it. It's like
it
a
was
talker study,
deeply
right?
unsettling.
Opera the movie, Dario Argento.
Which I've never seen.
I have a poster of that
It's
in
a
my
good one.
office.
That's an
The
Argento I
soundtrack's
missed.
amazing. I think it's got Brian Eno
It
on
has-
the
That
score
sounds
with
about right.
Goblin.
That
It
sounds
has
about right.
one of the best knife to the throat kills you'll ever see.
Wow.
Some good gore.
I like good Argento.
Yeah.
And then boy, oh boy.
Yeah, he can get bad.
He kind of fell off there. But yeah.
He's
Oh,
not
yeah,
very
Goblin?
psychological horror, though.
No,
he's very much
he's
like just
horror.
gruesome gore. Yeah.
He's just kind of horror. We
Blood
have
and
a
guts.
game. First time we have a game on the show here. Sent in by Jesse Blue.
Oh, I know that. Your listeners are really cool. Some of your listeners like contacted me and we're pals now on the internet.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
You have great listeners.
We
I really
do.
enjoy
We have a
it.
The
really,
Easy Honest
really-
community is the
I
best
love our
on
community.
the internet.
It's yeah, for sure. But Jesse Blue asked, I'm curious, what draws people to traditional horror? And she would ask us, how would we classify the below? And I'm kind of recontextualizing this as a game. So we have to, I'll read a movie, and you have to say if it is, and obviously like psychological horror is a subgenre of horror. So tra-la-la. But like, if we have to contextualize it as psychological horror or just horror, we'll go through each one of these, and you tell me which one you think it is, okay?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
The Shining.
Psychological
Psychological
horror.
horror.
Yeah, 100%. This is a
Yeah.
quintessential one, I
100%,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Best movie ever made.
Gremlins.
Gremlins is just horror.
Just horror,
Yeah. Well,
Creature
that's such
horror,
a cute movie.
maybe.
Blair Witch Project.
Psychological horror.
Haven't seen it.
Really?
Dude.
You would like
Can
the
I
Blair
see
Witch
it at this
Project.
point? Like, it feels
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
so much
I promise.
has passed.
I swear.
It'll probably hold
I
up.
swear, dude. Watch it on a dark night alone with the wind. It will creep you the hell out. It
That
holds
sounds great.
It'd
up
probably
Yeah,
hold up.
cool.
It'd probably hold up. That is
because it is just raw and dirty and grimy, and you just can't help but feel
Plus, like,
freaked
the
out.
filmmaking is so weird and exploitative that it's like interesting from a few angles. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it is. Dude, that movie's freaky.
Here's a good one. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
With Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
One of the best, if not the best, stake to the heart kill of all time in cinema. Ever.
I
They
just like it for all
hammer-
the
I like the
hammers the
costumes.
stake into a
practical
vamp.
effects too.
Yeah.
He hammers the stake into a vamp, and legitimate buckets of blood just
Yeah.
spray everywhere.
It's a fun movie. I
like that
I
movie.
like it too.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The artist feels very inspired by
yeah.
Bram Stoker's
Bram Stoker's
particular version of Dracula.
Bram Stoker's
Yeah.
Dracula has a big old jump scare in it when the bat comes down. But
I don't think it's
like
psychological.
it's
It
borderline.
asks
maybe
you
it wants
but
to be.
I think, yeah.
It wants
Yeah.
to be.
It almost is, but isn't. Yeah. But my shout out to my sound teacher from college won an Oscar for that movie.
Oh, congrats, sound teacher from college.
David
Well
Stone,
done.
dude. Yeah.
the sound of that steak going in.
Yeah. Interview with the Vampire. With the
Psychological.
Vampire.
Yeah.
Because it's Dracula, but
It's very
better.
dated, I feel like, but yeah.
I rewatched it again because it is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, I love that movie. The mood and the setting, I
Yeah.
can't get enough of that.
I rewatched like half of it like a year ago.
It didn't hold up as well as I wanted it to. It's still
Yeah.
good, but
Also, it was really, really funny not having seen it since I was like a teenager and then watching it again, and I was like, oh, y'all gay. This
Brad
is a
Pitt
gay
and Tom
movie.
Cruise? Hell yeah.
I just did not even calculate
That didn't register?
When I was,
Oh, yeah,
when I was like
yeah.
14, I was like, vampires, yeah, this is great.
No, that has some vibrant homoeroticism in there.
And now
it's
I'm like,
radiating from the screen.
yeah, I
How
know.
did you miss that?
I was like, because I grew up in a small town. I don't know. I didn't hear about any of this stuff until I was like older. But yeah, and then I was like, oh yeah, but how did I miss that? I was like, wow.
That's part of the fun thing about vampire movies is I feel
yeah.
like they got to be like low-key homoerotic
Sex, yeah.
when it wouldn't have flown otherwise.
Yeah. I love it.
erotica.
Signs.
Psychological, baby, all the way.
I would say just horror on this.
No way, dude. That movie freaks me the hell out, dude. Alien invasions, dude. Because like, my wife's a big scaredy cat, so it's funny because no horror really scares me. So it's funny picking her brain on like what really freaks her out and what doesn't, and then talking to you about jump scares. Like, there's always one aspect of horror that really gets under people's skin.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're afraid of aliens, that's my wife's biggest fear is like alien and demon shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you're just afraid of aliens, Signs is like the ultimate, like, freaking Fire in the Sky vibes. Just like those two alien movies.
Never saw that.
Oh, dude, it's about like being abducted by aliens. So scary, dude. Signs is up there for me with like one of just the scariest.
Funny.
That's
Yeah.
funny. You know, I didn't feel anything during Signs.
Wow.
I really
Wow.
don't like
his
Signs.
like magic
yeah.
didn't work on my brain.
The Joaquin.
Yeah.
The Joaquin. shot.
Yeah.
Because you see the
Well, I
alien
mean, that
like,
shot's like, yeah, that's just a jump scare. The scariest part of that movie, I think, is when that shot where there's just one standing on top of the barn. That's the freakiest part, I think, to me.
I think some things that are scary are when they're sort of just like weird and uncanny and slightly
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
rather than super threatening. Because sometimes that catches you in a way that you're not expecting.
That's why that scene
Just
when
some
he's
kind of,
seeing
like,
it on TV.
surreal shit. Yeah,
Like the OG like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and
Yeah.
stuff like that, where it's like pod people. Like, that's weird because it's just like something's just slightly weird here. Like Get Out does that really, really well.
Same with us.
Before,
I
haven't seen
loved
Us.
Us.
Loved.
I haven't
Us
seen it.
has some story
Loved Us.
problems.
Yeah,
And everyone who criticizes it for that, they're correct. But it's still phenomenal anyway.
Phenomenal.
It's
I want to see.
really, really cool.
I've just been kind of afraid to see it.
It's
but
thrilling.
Yeah.
It's like thrilling. It's
Yeah.
like super entertaining
It's
and
like-
scary.
I mentioned It Chapter 2 being flawed, and it's like weird that It Chapter 2 and Us, to me, I know that they're flawed. Like, I know there's problems with these movies, but like,
I forgive.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
all
Like,
is forgiven.
Us was so good.
Us is cool.
Like, Get Out
It's
is
cool.
perfect.
Get Out is
perfect.
Basically a perfect movie. Yeah.
Yes,
But
Us,
Us-
has higher heights.
Yeah.
It's not as perfect of a movie as Get
Yeah.
Out, but it reaches some cool
It
places.
aims higher. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. He's stretching himself.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see, right?
Yeah. Some freaky shit in there, Ian. Look out.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, does it
freaky.
have like
It'll get you.
jump scares? Like freaky, I
maybe one or two.
think, yeah.
But it's more
Lingering
just
images-
terrifying tableaus. You're watching some shit go down and you're like, this is horrible what's happening.
Was it
Yeah.
R or PG-13?
Oh, it's R. It's R.
Okay. Ghosts and demons are the ones that kind of linger with me. Because like aliens, it's like you just fly a jet into them and you're fine. You just go, I'm
You
back.
call Will Smith, and
Yeah.
everything's fine.
And you just hit him in the tailpipe and you're fine. But like demons and ghosts is kind of just like, well, can't really do anything.
yeah.
Like old priests, young priests don't seem to work most of the time. It's just like, man,
They're
okay.
usually the one who dies first.
They die first. They get thrown out a window. Yeah.
The Exorcist holds up. And and again, it's these.
Keeps getting funnier every time I see it.
What's that from?
Beetlejuice.
Nice. I feel like it's hard with legacy stuff, right? We live in an age now where everything is readily available. There's so much going on. There's so much new things to watch. So I feel like now more than ever, these celebrated masterpieces can kind of just be like dismissed in a way.
Well, I have a question for you guys.
Because there's just so much new stuff. It's like nobody has time to revisit these classic masterpieces, you know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like The Exorcist, like if you haven't seen Exorcist,
Go eat your vegetables.
please watch.
It's good for you.
Yeah, like I know it's old. Like I know movies have become so good and TV is so good and you can watch like The Haunting of Hill House. Just seems like, wow, we get 10 hours of The Exorcist. Like, dude, watch Exorcist.
Tokyo Slim brought up something that I think is a really cool point, where he was saying, I think Alfred Hitchcock was a pioneer of psychological horror, but I'm not sure how much of that is attributed to the studio code, like the Hays Code and all that stuff, and how much he wanted to remain unseen. Same goes for Twilight Zone. And I think he totally brings up an interesting point. And also, I would posit that a horror movie, just straight horror movie in the 70s, seen by a current audience might reclassify it as more of a psychological horror movie, just because of the evolution of film and how like we just show so much more gore and stuff now.
Oh yeah, our standards for violence are so weird now. Like
Very
if you
weird.
watch
Yeah.
a comedy now, it's more gory than a horror movie from the 70s.
People's hands get blown off and stuff. Yeah. And so it's really interesting because it's like The Exorcist at the time was like so shocking and vile and like, you know, as bordering on like schlock according to some, you know, critics, whereas by today's standards it's like, oh yeah,
This is it's so good.
it holds up obviously, but like it's just an interesting thought to me where it's like, do you think that
is really interesting.
there's something to that?
Because back then it was so over the top, but now, because we're desensitized, it's just like normal.
Yeah.
That is a really interesting point.
Sort of like how I talk about this with my friend Sarah a lot, where it's like some of those earlier Hays Code movies and like earlier movies and stuff, where they couldn't have any like explicit sexuality at all in them, but like everything was innuendo. Some of that stuff is like the sexiest stuff because it's like they can't actually say anything that they're trying to say, so they're just like dancing around it. And the same goes with horror, where it's like I think it's more deeply affecting sometimes when they couldn't show it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
like you know the classic movie Night of the Hunter with
Oh,
is it
yeah.
Robert Mitchum with a
Dude,
tattoo?
yes!
The thing that's interesting about that character, he's a creepy guy.
Did
who
you just
killed-
reference Night of the Hunter,
Yes.
bro?
So like, okay, he goes around killing women, but he does not want to have sex, and that is actually one of the things that's scary about this particular character, because he's doing that through some kind of weird kind of religious killer mentality,
Yeah.
not some like expression of his own like sexuality, but you're like, oh, something is up with this particular dude in a weird way where he wants to conquer these people mentally with
Yeah.
violence. Anyway,
Night
that
of the
movie is
Hunter.
fascinating, but I think that was like
My
sort
dad
of a
told me
result
about
of the like time period is like you wouldn't show some extreme, graphic, horrible violence, so you just do it more with the psychology of the characters.
And I think that
Definitely.
stuff like that can be like some of the more deeply, I say deeply affecting a lot, I guess, but like some of the more like disturbing characters, I think, follow along those lines, you know, like the more psychological kind of stuff, like Hannibal Lecter or First Reformed just popped into my mind, or like the films of
That's
Michael.
funny. I thought of that, and I was like, does that even count?
Does
But
it count?
yeah,
it sort of does. But like Michael Haneke does this a lot, where it's just like capital D dread, you know, where it's like I think about Cachet or The White Ribbon or any of these movies, and it's just like, good Lord, like it's nothing horrific or like one thing of horror will happen, you know, and like it's classified under drama or like psychological drama or something, you know, but it's just so tense.
Dread is such a cool element in filmmaking, and my friend who did It Follows. I don't
Yeah.
want to put words in his mouth, but he said something really cool once when he was doing a screening of one of his movies. He was
So
talking
much
about how dread was one of the tones he really wanted to achieve with It Follows, but it's really hard to nail because dread is cumulative.
Right.
You know, it's like something that like acquires throughout the course of a movie, but when you're making a movie, you're just doing one scene at a time, and you don't know if that feeling is
If the
adding
ramp
up
is-
until
yeah.
you've like cut it all together. So it's like one of those cross your fingers and hope
Yeah.
it's actually there at the end.
I feel bad because I've been too afraid to watch It Follows, even though I know Rich Vreeland, who did the soundtrack to that and Under the Silver Lake, which I loved.
A lot of dread.
I loved Under the Silver
It
Lake.
Follows is very poetic. And
Okay.
it feels like it ends on a poetic tone.
Okay.
So that might help counterbalance
Okay,
some of
okay.
your trepidation
A
about
lot
it.
of dread.
Yeah.
Ian. Lot
Dread,
of dread.
here's the thing.
That's one of my
Dread I
favorite
like.
movies.
Like
That's
in
great.
movies, in real life I hate it. But in movies I handle Dread. I like Dread. It's just like a freaky image or like
A lot of freaky images.
or like a jump scare, yeah. But I mean like It Follows specifically like was described to me and
Yeah.
I've like been looking behind me or walking home, you know? Like same with Blair Witch, honestly. Like some older kids at my first job working at the St. Croix Boat and Packet Company spraying liquid smoke on ribs for boats, for steamboats.
That sounds like a setup for a horror movie.
Yeah, right? It kind of was. But the horror movie of my life. But like some of the older kids were just describing Blair Witch Project to me and I was so afraid. It's really scary.
That was me as a kid with Nightmare on Elm Street. Just the
Yeah.
description of the movie
Yeah.
without having seen it, like I would be like, I can't go to sleep because Freddy's
Yeah.
going to get me.
Candyman also.
Have you ever had any real dreams about Freddy? I've had real dreams where Freddy shows up and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, that was a close call. I didn't even realize it. I was in a dream with Freddy. I was this close.
He almost got me.
If Freddy ever like haunted my dreams, Jason would come in and protect
Save
me
you.
and kill him. Yeah.
You probably would. Jason would have your back.
He's your
Yeah.
persona. Oh.
Are there any other directors that you guys like in this?
Cronenberg.
kind of-
How do we get this
Yeah.
far without Cronenberg?
I mean, it was funny because you can attest to this, when I messaged him for the theme of this episode a couple of weeks ago, I was like, all right, what do we do? Cronenberg body horror or just psychological horror on the whole?
well, because Cronenberg is
Cronenberg.
very, like, even
Dude.
though he uses body horror visually as a theme, it's all to the service
Yeah.
of psychological messages and feelings. Like The Brood.
The Brood is my favorite.
Psychological horror. Like it's
Number
about
one.
psychology. It's
Yeah.
Have you seen?
I haven't seen The Brood, actually. I
Oh, The
haven't seen
Brood
that
is like about this weird kind of cultish institute of psychology that gives people therapy, but it ends up giving them these weird marks on their body, and then it
I gotta see
grows
this movie,
into
dude.
these like sort of.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it,
grows into
dude.
things.
Don't spoil the Brood.
I mean, I assume that,
Anyway,
yeah.
it grows into things that are scary.
Is that the one where it was called like Orgy of the Blood Parasites for a while?
Probably.
Maybe The Brood is really top shelf Cronenberg.
It
Yeah,
It's so
And I
good.
love The Fly. I love Dead Ringers. I mean, to me, one of the aspects, like body horror as a subgenre, I think would largely fall into psychological horror because, like, what's more terrifying to the psyche than like watching your own body betray you? You know,
Yeah,
I
The
mean, like
Fly.
everyone has this ingrained fear of illness and death, and it's just like, my God, like ain't nothing scarier than that.
Yeah, The Fly is one of my childhood favorites. The original
The
and of
Fly.
course
I
the
love
remake
The Fly.
with Gold. Yeah, it's hard to get better than that.
Yeah.
And I think you're right, Ian. Of just like, not only is his body deteriorating and like this slowly killing him, which is horrifying, but it's like he went for his dreams
Yeah.
too. You know. Like he has this whole idea of like, dude, I'm gonna invent teleportation. Like, let's do this. Following his dreams, going all in for it, and it just goes horribly wrong, and that's scary too.
That makes me think of, you mentioned Haneke earlier, but Amor, the Haneke film.
I haven't watched that one yet.
More,
That is
dude.
a
too
horror
sad.
film.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is a horror
I heard
film,
it has like one
100%.
crazy thing in it. Yeah, I
It's
haven't
just
watched
about
it yet.
like a couple in love and, you know, dealing with like illness and body is decaying, and it is hard. It's a hard
yeah,
movie
I don't
to
know
watch.
if I can
that is
handle that
Haneke,
one.
like, shoo.
Yeah.
You've seen this
Yes.
movie? Yeah.
yeah,
Most depressing cover of all time.
that one I just knew. I was like, nope, can't do this one.
That's a tough watch.
I love sad movies.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Need a good cry.
Yeah. Who boy.
But Cronenberg is one of the best.
Yeah.
I love just how he handles, like, I mean, he's a smart genre director. I
Yeah.
feel like
Because
the
he
way
always
that
has something to say
yeah,
too.
yeah, it's
you
true.
know?
Well, and, I mean, Crash, the good Crash, not the bad Oscar winner, but That
Only
one's-
Cronenberg movie I don't like.
It really upset me watching that movie. It was just like,
That's the one I was just so bored in.
oh really?
Yeah.
It's just.
I think
to me,
I
it's,
think
like,
it was over my
unsettling.
head, dude. I saw it too early. Maybe I just missed it all. I was like,
Well,
I don't
and,
know what's happening.
Especially at the time of life where I watched it, like infidelity stuff would really irk me out, like skeeve me out. So I mean, like Straw Dogs, Peckinpah is a whole other. Peckinpah, he
Wild
might be a
bunch.
horror director too.
Yeah, Straw Dogs is a horror movie.
Straw Dogs is
Yeah.
a horror movie, like a home invasion, strangers.
Last House on the
But
Left.
like, my God, Straw Dogs.
yeah.
Ugh.
I kind of thumbs down on Straw Dogs.
You don't
I
like
actually
Straw
don't
Dogs?
like it.
Straw
no, I
Dogs-
mean it's a well-made movie, but
Well,
I
that-
really don't like where it's coming from.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Is with Straw Dogs is like I really don't know what Peckinpah is saying here about like women or abuse or
Not
like,
good things. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem
I'm
like.
I'm like, who hurt you, Peckinpah?
You
You,
should be-
hate women, don't you?
The Pauline Kael essay
Oh.
about Straw Dogs.
I would
is
love to read
great.
that.
Yeah.
Pauline Kael,
She's one of the
Saint-
best film
Saint
critics, if
Pauline,
not the best.
dude.
Yeah.
Pauline Kael's a genius.
Do you like? Have you read any of her
have
film
not.
criticism? She's
No.
one of the best film critics
In
ever.
college-
She has
in
really
college,
great things to say.
in film school, a friend of mine had like her compendium of like the shorter
Yeah, me
reviews.
too. It's a good one, yeah.
And I would just like sit. There would be parties. You know, people would be like spinning records of Jesus Christ Superstar with Kraftwerk or whatever, and I was just sitting in the corner.
Sounds like
while-
college.
Yeah, and like there's a Jodorowsky film on the TV, and I'm just sitting in the corner reading Pauline Kael reviews, like at a party, like drunk out of my mind. Oh, good stuff.
Oh man, I think most people who went to college have either that exact experience or something similar.
Yeah, everyone's
that
been
sounds
to
like
that
college.
party.
That's
Yeah,
really
everyone's
funny.
been to
I
that
think I
party.
hosted many of them myself.
Yeah, and then you get home and your roommate's drunk on like gin and tonics and he screams at you about Heidegger. Yeah, that was my college experience. But yeah, I was gonna say something and now I lost it. But shout out to Rick and Morty for turning Cronenberg into a verb, because he's like, man, we really Cronenberged that whole universe.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. All right, I feel like we were going a little long, so we should try to lightning round a few different things. We'll skip that one. It's a feel bad question. I was just which ones missed the mark, but it's like, who needs to talk about that? The Joker. What film successfully merged genres? Mainly, I just wanted to bring up how much Event Horizon scarred me as a kid about this, and someone else, Colt Smith, actually brought up Event Horizon 2.
Bone Tomahawk.
I've heard about Bone Tomahawk, and I haven't seen it yet.
Bone Tomahawk.
Is it like a horror western?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes.
Cool.
This director makes really long, intense movies.
Who's
He made Bone Tomahawk. Then he did the movie Cell Block with Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
And then he made another movie recently, which I haven't seen, but I want to. A 2.5-hour cop drama with Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson called Dragged Across Concrete. And apparently
I
it's
cannot-
really good.
I can't
I heard it's not just
buy,
a clever title.
Yeah, I heard it's good.
I
I
can't
heard it's
buy
really good.
serious Vince Vaughn still. Maybe it was True
Both-
Dicks season 2 that just like made me despise it, because that's like island levels of terrible.
Yeah. I haven't watched
like-
those two, but I saw Bone Tomahawk and it's really good.
okay.
So, and all three of those movies are critically acclaimed.
Ah,
7 in the Game by David
Yo,
Fincher.
The
Those are-
Game,
That's my favorite
dude.
Fincher. Is the game.
I love the game.
Love
The game
the
is
game.
amazing.
I
I saw
like
it like
David
3 times
Fincher
in
a
the
lot, but I
theater.
love
Yeah,
the
the
game.
game
I
is
have-
really cool.
I have the Blu-ray.
The game
for the
feels like
game.
a French existentialist novel from the 60s or
Yeah.
something. It's really underrated.
Plus, it's just
Yeah,
like
it is
really
underrated.
fun. Well,
It
being
is, yeah.
thoughtful and interesting. Like, oh man, the game, dude.
cool.
Super underrated.
Fincher is such a master
Used to
of
be
tone.
my favorite.
He's so good at tone, while still being like accessible. I don't know,
Zodiac.
Fincher, dude. Even Panic Room is dope.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Up
shit.
until Gone Girl, he was like my favorite, and
Yeah,
then
I
Gone
didn't-
Girl.
I didn't
You did not
love
like
Gone
Gone
Girl.
Girl?
I mean, Social Network. Sorry,
Oh.
Social Network.
Wait,
Me
was,
too.
did
That's
he
where I
do Gone
dropped.
Girl?
He did Gone
Girl's
Girl,
really
Yeah.
cool. I
which
like
is
Gone
really
Girl.
good.
Gone Girl, I wanted to like more than I did though.
But then now he's been messing around on TV. I just feel like we haven't had a great classic
haven't had a great-
He's
Fincher
got more in
movie
him.
in a
I- He's got
long
more in him.
time.
I actually really like.
Where you at, Fincher?
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. His Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah,
I really like.
I guess because I had seen
the
all
vibes
the other
of
ones.
it, I like.
I was just like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
already saw this.
I mean, it's a different thing. I think it's different. Daniel Craig. I like Daniel Craig, and the Mara. Which Mara was that? Rooney.
Rooney Mara
Yeah.
and Kate Mara.
Yeah. there's the other one.
Double Mara. Kate Mara was in House of Cards, which he did.
Have they ever been in anything together?
Rooney and Kate?
Yeah.
Are they related?
They're sisters.
They are?
I think they're sisters. Mara's not a common last name. Now I have to Google it.
Mind blown.
Now I have to Google it.
Mind blown. Had no clue.
I believe they even look pretty similar.
Had no clue.
Let's see here. Family. Yeah, relatives. Kate Mara, sister.
Isn't it weird that Katharine Hepburn and Audrey Hepburn aren't sisters? I thought that for my entire
Mind
life.
blown.
Wait,
dude.
isn't that,
Again,
isn't
double
one
mind
the
blown.
daughter?
I don't think they're related.
They're not
At all.
related?
At all. Just totally different Hepburns.
What?
Isn't that wild? Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. My whole life I thought that, yeah.
I recently had one where I thought, what was it? Oh, Vera Farmiga. I thought Tessia Farmiga was her daughter, but they're sisters.
Yeah.
Whatever. I like the
Let's
Farmigas.
it's psychological horror.
Yeah. The Thing is great. Carpenter.
I really want to talk about, to me, the exact moment when horror came back. I want to see if you agree or disagree. The moment modern horror rised from the ashes to the mainstream.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, what?
I got to be as dramatic as possible. To the moment that we are in now where horror is phenomenal. The Conjuring. The Conjuring.
Someone actually said, I
brought-
want to hear Huber talk about
Yes.
the Conjuring universe.
Rated R horror movie that just made buckets of money, that revitalized to me the entire genre, dude.
I think Saw did it.
Same director, James Wan. You can give all the credit to James Wan.
Yeah.
Saw, but still.
Saw brought back the yearly
Grimy,
franchise.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Conjuring was
Moneybag movies. Yeah.
The Conjuring to me was like, yo, we can make good horror, not just horror fun. No, we have really good art house quality filmmaking horror back. I think The Conjuring, a lot is owed to that moment, and since then, so many greats have come out, and they've been kind of a similar vibe and a pace, that psychological vibe of the slow, drawn out.
The Nun is
the
in that
ramp
universe,
up.
right? You didn't like The Nun.
The Nun is in that universe, and it's not good.
Not very good.
Same with The Curse of La Llorona. Same universe, not very good.
There are a lot of movies in that universe.
It's getting bigger, yeah. It's getting crazy.
Is Annabelle's in that universe?
Annabelle, there's 3 Annabelle movies now or something.
Conjuring 1, 2, 3.
There's only 2.
Okay, 1, 2. Annabelle 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Curse of La Llorona
And The Nun.
and The Nun. That's
Yeah,
it?
It's out of control, yeah.
It's like Amityville.
And
That's
they
got 1,000
jump.
movies in it.
They jump all over time, so they're all out of whack timeline
It's like
wise.
the Seal discography.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah.
Have we ever talked about the Seal discography? I feel like I have to have mentioned the Seal discography before. Hang on.
Kissed by a Rose from the Grave
Do you-
Seal? Is
Yeah,
that who
Seal.
you're talking about?
Do you like The Conjuring?
I have not seen any of those 10 or 12 movies
Wow.
you listed.
Wow.
I missed all of them.
Well, The
I haven't
Conjuring
seen
1
any of
is
them either.
easily the best out of all of them. So I highly recommend The Conjuring 1. It is phenomenal.
Is it gruesome? I'm curious.
It's not too gruesome,
Okay,
no. There
cool.
are 1 or 2 parts of really intense blood. A lot of blood, especially one part is whoa, a lot of blood comes, but way more psychological, way more spooky haunted house, dude. And they gave away it's so funny going back, distancing yourself from trailers and marketing, right? The Conjuring before it came out, they really sold the Lily what is her name? Lily something?
Lily Tomlin?
Lily Tomlin. They really sold the Lily Tomlin beginning of the movie, because there's this beginning, one kind of take, go through the house, really horror bit that was so given away in the trailers.
Oh,
And
but
that-
then the movie shifts to something else?
No, and then the movie has that scene, but it's you gave all that stuff away in the trailer. That beginning set piece that's so good. Anyway, because I had a similar incident with Watchmen. I went back and rewatched Watchmen, and when a comedian gets thrown out the window,
That's using every...
every time the Watchmen is brought up,
Yeah.
it's the comedian getting thrown out the window. And I rewatched it and hadn't seen any marketing in years and years and years, and I'm like, that is one of my favorite shots in cinema. That shot is unreal, dude. Him just midair out of the window, glass all around him. I'm like, the marketing just wasted and abused it. Now
Cowboy
there's-
Bebop's got a good one of those.
Yeah.
The
Anyway.
Crow got a good
The Conjuring, the clap. You don't remember the clap?
I didn't see that movie. But I saw the clapping in the trailer, and I was like, I'm not watching this.
That's everyone's Halloween assignment. Yeah.
Because
What is
they have
the-
a system.
What's the clapping again?
The daughter runs and hides,
Oh.
and the mom claps, and then the daughter has to clap back to get a little hint.
Is that the classic? Is the lady in that movie? She's the one from The Haunting. who plays like the same character and everything. She was Eleanor in The Haunting with Catherine Zeta-Jones. You know what I'm talking about? What's her name? I guess I could just IMDb The Conjuring and see if it's the same person.
The Haunting, dude, with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson. Haven't seen that in so long.
Doesn't super hold up, but kind of holds up.
I remember in like Owen Wilson, right? I remember it was
Liam
fine.
Neeson.
What's
yeah,
Owen Wilson's
Wilson.
thing that they do super cuts of? He says something all
Wow.
that. Wow. Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Who plays Eleanor in that damn movie? Lily Taylor. Now.
Lily Taylor, that's her. Okay, Lily Taylor is in The Conjuring.
I was gonna say, I was like, Lily Tomlin's not in.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Conjuring.
isn't she the
Sorry,
like
Lily
comedian?
Taylor.
Yeah.
Lily Taylor.
Lily
sorry.
Taylor plays like.
I was thinking of the operator. Yeah.
She's very good at playing this kind of character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, if you have not seen The Conjuring 1, again,
Too scary.
do
for me,
not
I
be
think.
blinded by the franchise vibe of it all now, because when The Conjuring 1 came out, it was its own little thing. Don't let all the noise and the Hollywood studios and the franchise of it all just take away from how great The Conjuring 1 is. Really important movie. I will die on that hill and
Important
fall
even.
on that sword. It is. Because since then, we've gotten things like The Witch and Midsummer and The Lighthouse coming out. Like, It Follows, The Babadook. All these came out in this new era that we are currently operating in.
Sure.
Like, horror's phenomenal now, dude. It's like the best it's
Did
been.
it ever go away then? Did it ever go away? When did
feel-
it go away? The 90s?
The 90s, we got like
There's
the
a lot of
the
straight to
found
video,
dude, the found
yeah.
foil cover,
the found
stuff,
footage
yeah.
era. Like that got
Hellraiser
so
movies.
tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, last thing I wanted to mention before the quote thing. Morgan Mahala brought up Green Room,
Green Room,
which
dude.
I think
Jeremy
probably
Solner.
kind of maybe would be a psychological horror movie.
Solner did something recently.
Solner.
He's doing something now.
If the movie doesn't have a color in the title, I'm out.
Tell me what Solner is doing right now, Ian.
Green Room, is that one political?
Kind of.
Yeah. I didn't see it.
Oh.
But I think I know the one you're talking about,
it's a
right?
band. It's a punk rock
He
band.
did True Detective in the newest season.
Oh, really?
Only a couple episodes.
Oh,
though.
fun.
Yeah.
Green Room is about Anton Yelchin, right? Yeah, rest his soul.
Dude.
Very sad about that, yeah. But a punk band plays at a club that turns out to be like a neo-Nazi club. And they see something they shouldn't, and they have to hole up in the green room while the Nazis are trying to like get rid of the witnesses.
The main Nazi is Picard.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Sir Patrick Stewart. Green Room is phenomenal, and you would love it.
It is really good. Did you
It's
like
a very,
Green
very
Room
good movie.
or
I like Green Room more than Blue Ruin.
Blue Ruin? And then I still have yet to, but I'm going to now watch Hold the Dark, which was
Yeah, I
his
never saw
Netflix
that,
one
the
that got
Wolf
like
one.
medium reviews.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Green Room is super good. You should check it out.
Yeah.
Anybody got a quote for the quote challenge, or
I
should we just get the
do.
hell out of here?
I got I
Did you have
always
anything
bring
else you wanted to
quotes.
talk about?
Black Coat's Daughter, good Halloween movie.
Oh, I've heard that's
Black
cool.
Coat's Daughter
Coat's
is really
Daughter.
cool.
Yeah.
I have a huge long list, so I'll add it to it.
But yeah, I do have a quote. I
Okay.
love the quote. That's,
Black-
that's
yeah,
my favorite
quote
one.
Was
challenge.
it Black Coats?
Black Coat's Daughter.
Who's in that?
The Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the daughter on Mad Men.
Nice.
I
The
can't
new
pronounce
Sabrina
her
the
name.
Teenage
Yeah,
Witch?
the new
Okay.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Whoever the blonde-haired girl
Yeah.
who is Don Draper's daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's really cool in it. And Emma Roberts. And it is like a eerie, sad horror movie.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Cool.
I like eerie sad
You've seen
things.
The Witch, right?
Yeah, I love The Witch.
Yeah, The Witch is cool.
Because I'm going to do a quote from my favorite psychological horror movie that we did not mention on this episode at all yet. And it is one of my favorite movies of all time. And you probably already seen it. I imagine both of you have seen it. But, okay, so the first quote from this movie is, throw a rock in this town and you'll hit a rider. And do me a favor, throw it hard.
Oh God, that sounds familiar.
Okay, I'm gonna bump it up with another quote.
Throw a rock in this town, you'll hit a writer.
Do me a favor, throw it hard. Okay, the next quote.
Sounds like Night of the Hunter, dude.
The next quote from this movie is, honey, where's my honey? Honey. Same movie.
Sounds like some Coen Brothers shit.
No, it sounds like
Getting warmer. Getting warm. Okay, and then the line, this might give it away. Look upon me.
Barton
I'll
Fink.
show you the life of the mind.
There it
That's
is.
psychological horror, right?
I love Barton
It
Fink.
doesn't feel like psychological horror until all of a sudden it is.
Duh, Barton Fink.
Yeah.
I'll show you the life of the mind. I need to rewatch Barton Fink.
Yeah. it's
I loved
been
it when I saw it, but I've
ages.
only
Barton
seen it like
Fink is
twice.
so sedate, so calm,
I love Barton
until all of
Fink,
a
dude.
sudden you're like, what is happening?
It is
Yeah.
Coen Brothers. Wow. Good,
You're right
good
on
pull.
track. Yeah,
Good
yeah.
pull,
They
dude.
have such a distinct.
Yeah, they're
writing
writing
style.
stuff. Oh, Barton Fink is classic.
It really is.
I mean, when you realize who John Goodman is kind of playing, I'd say it's a psychological horror movie.
It's a great movie. One of the best. My favorite of theirs. Even more than No Country for Old Men.
No Country, perfect movie.
Perfect movie.
It's a perfect movie. Paddington too.
Perfect film.
Okay.
Perfect cinema.
But yeah, Barton Fink is really good. Dude, even A Serious Man would probably be a psychological horror movie. I mean, it's basically just Job, I guess. But like, man, I like that movie too.
Me too.
The ending of that movie is so funny. Oh boy. But
Any quotes?
quote. Let me try to think.
I got nothing.
I just can't stop thinking of the phrase "Hail Satan," but that's in like everything. You could say like 8 different movies, but I was thinking of it from. Well, kind of spoil the movie, I guess. Did I ever?
Oh, I know what movie you're thinking of. It's like RB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, that one too.
Yeah.
That one too. But similar moment in RON. Currently still in theaters, possibly.
Oh.
Hide and seek movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting
Cool
for that to
movie.
come on demand.
It was fun. I liked it. It was fun. I don't know. I can't think of one either right now. I put me on the spot.
I got nothing.
What's that thing she says in Audition? Audition's a psychological
Oh,
She
horror
just
movie.
goes
What's
like,
her
"Tick,
thing? Yeah, that is really
Audition.
great. That would be a fun
Great.
quote if I just said that. On
Yeah. Last time when we were talking about puppets,
cinema, dude. Asian
my
horror.
quote was just from Dark Crystal. Yeah, dude.
Ju-on is like.
Yeah, The Ring, Grudge.
Oh, did you see Dark Water?
The original
From the
Dark Water.
same
Several
director, the
people brought
original
that
one.
up.
Yeah, I
Several
love
people
that
brought
one.
that up.
Because there's nothing really scary being shown that much, but it's
Yeah.
still like, oh, that drop of water is really scary.
I would highly recommend the original Wicker Man. The Nicolas Cage one is fun for a laugh. Make
The
sure you
original,
watch
yeah.
the correct version though, because we watched the entirety of Nicolas Cage's The Wicker Man, and the version we were watching was like the theatrical cut or something. Doesn't show the not the bees part.
What?
Oh, that's the
We watched
reason
the
to watch
whole
that version.
movie.
Waiting
Yeah.
for the bees. Yeah.
Point.
Shout out to Vampire's Kiss, legitimate phenomenal movie. That movie rules, and I will go to bat for Vampire's Kiss. That is
Wait, is that
quintessential
the Nick Cage
yeah.
Vampire's Kiss? Yeah,
psychological
yeah.
horror. That dude is going down a spiral.
How dare I? The Conjuring became my new obsession, but even before that, a movie that has not been brought up. The Descent.
Oh, I
The
got too scared.
Descent is
Yeah.
like
I shut it off.
That is
essential.
terrifying.
I shut it off.
That is
I
one
got.
of the scariest
I got.
movies
I
ever.
shut it off. I got so scared from the jump scares before
Yeah.
they even got in the cave.
Yeah.
Like rebar coming through the windshield. I was like, all right, I'm done. All right, okay.
That's a rough
The
That's a
rebar.
rough thing to watch, yeah.
And I realize like I love a horror movie that really sets up the characters first.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's why The Descent works so well, because the first like 40 minutes at least are like the drama between all the girlfriends and like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's a scary movie.
That is
Yeah,
a
it is.
That's scary.
That is
So
Like,
many-
If
scary.
I'm having if I got a blanket, my knuckles are like white around that
Yeah,
blanket
yeah.
watching it.
So many just like
And you want her to live, dude.
Yeah,
you want those
yeah.
characters to live.
I want her to live. So many of the best horror movies, like classic horror movies, start with just like a woman alone, like, and you just meet her. You know, it's such a classic way to start.
That's the cool thing about Alien is it doesn't start that way.
Right.
You saw Alien cold with no trailer.
know
You wouldn't know
who's-
Sigourney
yeah.
Weaver would be the hero until like 45 minutes into the movie. She's
That's
just
why-
a person amongst the crew.
That's why that script is just so genius. I love that script too because it's a perfect example of just like people just living their lives. It doesn't
Want to get paid.
basically it like
What
breaks
about that bonus?
It breaks
And that
several
bonus.
rules of screenwriting. You know, it like doesn't introduce these people like in the traditional sense. Oh my god, it's so good.
Perfection.
Well, all right. Anything else you wanted to talk about? You got this whole list here.
Yeah, we talked about a
Dead
lot of
Ringers,
them.
dude. Love
Yeah,
Dead
Dead
Ringers. I've never
Ringers.
seen. Is that Revanche?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've
That's
heard
a
it's
French
really
movie.
good.
There's
yeah.
some recent French ones that are good. Revenge and Raw, 2 different French women directors
Raw
doing
is
sort of
French?
a body horror. I think
recent
it's-
one?
I think it's
Oh, wow.
French.
Is
Yeah.
it in English?
No. They're both
Oh.
subtitled, I think.
What
That's
about
one-
Luz?
I don't know.
Hear
I don't
about
know
this
that
one?
What's Luz?
Let me read the. It's on my list to watch for this Halloween. But the
Luz.
premise and the critical take of it was really, really good. 2018.
A few people brought up The Wailing.
A
Whaling's
young
cool.
cab driver drags herself into the brightly lit entrance of a rundown police station. A demonic entity follows her,
Whoa.
Is
Scream.
this an American movie?
determined to
Luz?
finally be close to the woman it loves. Luz. Great
Whoa.
reviews. There was a really cool poster. This is a different poster, but there was a
That's
really
a cool poster.
there's an even better poster.
Let
where
me
it's-
see it.
No, this one's not cool. I gotta.
You
This
don't get to
one.
see
This
it.
I don't get to
poster.
see it.
Look how good that poster is.
Yeah, that's a good
good-looking
poster.
It's one of the best posters.
Show the camera.
Oh, it's such a good poster.
Is that an old movie or a new movie?
2018 it says.
Oh, okay.
It was in the theaters recently, and I was like, oh, I gotta keep a tab on that one.
Yeah.
And,
I got to see Parasite. I hear that's amazing.
Yes.
The anime Parasite. If you're looking for a good Halloween
There's an
horror
anime also called Parasite?
Miyazaki was gonna make a movie of it, but
Oh.
instead they made like a OVA or serial
Yeah.
TV series of it. Parasite's really good. It's like Cronenberg body horror anime, but
Crazy.
imagine that Miyazaki wanted to direct something like that,
Yeah.
and it's fun to watch it. It's good.
I was talking about what is his name? Jang Boon Ho? Is that the right
the host
person?
director.
The host, yeah. The new one,
That's his new
Parasite,
movie.
by
It
him.
was really well reviewed. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see
Oh,
that.
that's great.
Got to see The Lighthouse. Got to see that Lighthouse. That's by the Witch director.
That's the Willem Dafoe, Robert
Willem
Pattinson
Dafoe.
one.
I hear it's amazing.
The trailer, I
Say
saw that
nothing.
today.
A media black hole.
Yeah.
I know.
Everything.
I stopped
I won't
watching
say
the
no,
trailer.
no.
Everything. I've known nothing. Not even a
Spill
whisper.
your beans. Yeah, it looks amazing. But yeah, I watched The Terror season 1,
The
which was
Terror.
really good. Psychological sort of stuff. Anywho, thank you, Matthew Walden.
Thanks for having me on. This is my
Next time we're here, I need a full Halloween recap, dude. You better watch it. I'm not kidding
Oh,
around.
of the new Halloween. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please watch it.
Hocus Pocus, classic psychological horror film. Thank you, Ubisoft.
Homeward Bound, very
my God.
psychological horror movie.
Milo
Big
Notice.
time.
Just the worst. Ugh. Well, thank you for watching or listening at home. Again, if you are in the $7 and up tier, you can contribute to these discussions. I depend on these and thrive reading these. So thank you to everyone who contributed to that. That's the $7 and up film club. You also get the episodes early if you're in that, because we had this before we had the early access tier at $5, so this one's at $7. Less than the price of a movie ticket.
Less than the price of a $20 movie ticket. Those movies are expensive.
They're expensive now. But anyway, thank you both. Thank you all at home.
Thank you. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
Happy Halloween.